Welcome, everyone, to TJ and the Grumpy Old Man. I'm your host, TJ, and with me here, as always, is the Grumpy Old Man. They say there's no shame to his game because he's always the same.
That's me.
And with us here, also, a reoccurring special guest, Son, or the magnificent Son X.
Grumpy. He's a loser. He's a loser.
Grump, what happened, Grumpy? Why are you calling Son X a loser?
He's a parasite is what he is.
What happened, Grumpy?
Today he's real slick, this X. He, comes over to wish his mother a happy Mother's Day, comes over.
Must have been a free meal involved.
Of course there's a free meal involved. Always. Always.
Oh my God.
And his thing, it's not like it's just free to him. His dog comes over. He don't feed his dog. Ever.
That's bullshit.
Ever. As soon as he comes over here, the dog drinks like he's been running in the Sahara Desert for 6 weeks, and he's never eaten. He eats buckets of food, the plastic and everything. It's disgraceful, honestly. And I asked him one thing I said, how many waters are in the refrigerator? I said, can you please fill up? Oh, there's plenty in here. I said, how many are in there? He says, 3. So his girlfriend both take cold waters. And I asked him 3 times during the day. I said, fill that water up. Oh, plenty of time. So you want to know what I was doing 5 minutes before the podcast? Filling up waters in the refrigerator because Son X, I guess if there's no meal involved, more secondary meal involved, he doesn't put the water in there.
I apologize, Grumpy. I should have put 2 waters to replenish the ones that I took out. I'm sorry.
But you didn't. You're a failure once again.
Grumpy, is this going to affect your magical grape drink? Is your magic grape drink going to be effective for today's show? Is that you seem a little grumpy?
I mean,
I don't like to drink warm water.
Heaven forbid you use something called tap water, but
oh no, Grumpy.
From the guy whose very existence is because of me. He's telling me what I should do.
Okay, this is good. This is a good start. But for those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. This is a twice-a-week all-sports podcast that takes place every single Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and every single Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're new to the channel, we encourage you to do a few things. We encourage you to subscribe on YouTube. We encourage you to like on Facebook, and we encourage you to follow on Twitter. That's the best way to make sure you don't miss out on any of the content. Today, we've got a few things to talk about, right? In the world of sports, there's always different things to talk about. I mean, we talk anything and everything sports. Did I mention this? We talk NFL, NHL, NBA, college athletics, fan fights, baseball. We talk anything. World football. We talk anything and everything sports. Today, we've got there's some grumblings in the NFL. There's some grumblings going around in the NFL about agents bribing individuals there, bribing teams to select certain players, which is that's something else for certain. We've also got situations to where we got updates on the NHL and the NBA playoffs, a little NHL and NBA playoff action. Dan Snyder has officially sold the Washington Commanders. That's been completed. So there's quite a bit to talk about on today's episode. But without further delay, I mean, we didn't have a show on Thursday. It's odd. We've got so much catching up to do, guys.
Yeah, no, you also didn't mention the NHL draft.
Oh, the draft lottery. Oh, yes.
Lottery.
That happened. Yeah, we could talk about that. That's one of those. Let's start talking about the NHL draft lottery. It's one of those to where, for those who are unaware, when you go ahead and select in the NHL draft, or when you have the NHL draft, it's a lottery, just like the NBA lottery. The NHL is very similar. So it's not the worst team gets the best overall player. This is what occurred here let's put this up, on Thursday of last week. Now, it's important to mention, we had premonitions, and we had talked about this before, we had went live, and we talked about this before the NHL draft lottery occurred. We said there is no way in hell that Connor Bedard is going to be going to a sorry-ass squad. They're going to be putting him on a blue blood type of team. I tell you, they weren't sending him to Anaheim. They weren't sending him to Columbus. They weren't sending him to San Jose. I could see maybe Montreal or maybe Chicago out of these teams listed. And sure enough, wouldn't you just be shocked that, oh man, the third highest odds there, Chicago Blackhawks win Connor Bedard, who's one of those generational talents.
Since 1998. And there is our first change in the order, with Columbus dropping to third. So now either Anaheim or Chicago will select first overall. Anaheim has never selected first overall, and the last time Chicago drafted number 1 was when they took future Hall of Famer Patrick Kane. We'll be back after.
So they obviously got Patrick Kane. They got Jonathan Taves that won a few cups, and now, hey, wouldn't it just be funny that they've lucked their way into the Connor Bedard sweepstakes?
Well, for me, the biggest thing was he announced what pick had happened, but they hadn't opened up the envelope yet. Then they came back from the timeout, and then they opened up the envelope, and it's like, oh, Columbus is picking at number 3. That was the biggest thing to me. You announced what had happened before you actually opened up the envelope. Isn't it supposed to be a surprise?
Well, they knew they draw it hours ahead of time, right? But in the same token, it just looks fishy. The entire thing smells of bullshit. That's the only thing I've got to say about it. The entire thing smells of bullshit because we knew there was no way, and I mean no way in hell he was going to the Sharks. There was no way in hell he was going to Anaheim. There was no way in hell he was going to Columbus. You knew it was either Montreal or Chicago. And sure enough, Chicago gets him. I mean, that type of stuff, just thinking about how monumental, pivotal these little ping pong balls are, just in my opinion, that shit's just nonsense.
Yeah. As an owner, like especially of Columbus, I mean, do you not sell the team? Because obviously your team's never going to get better. You're never going to get a number 1 overall talent. It's just not going to happen.
I just don't like how the odds are it seems like for the worst team in the league, the odds aren't high enough for them to get the first overall pick. I'm not saying that it's impossible, but 1 out of 4. I mean, to me, if you're not in the top 5, you should not have the opportunity to pick first. If you want to have a lottery of the top 5 teams, not every team that doesn't make the playoffs, just top 5, and have it weighted from there, something like that. Because, I mean, let's be honest, the worst team should get the number 1 overall pick, regardless of who it is.
Like how it's done in the NFL.
Even if it's 50% chance for number 1, 25 for number 2, 10 for 3, whatever. Do it something like that. But, I mean, you don't see teams tanking anymore. You just don't see it. And like I said, I feel bad for Anaheim and Columbus because – think about the shot that they had to get that pick. I mean, this is a generational talent.
Here's the shot and the chance that they had, right? Anaheim had a 25% chance. Columbus Blue Jackets had 13. Chicago only had an 11.5% chance to get the first overall selection. And just wouldn't you know, wouldn't that be the case? So 1 in 10 odds. It's just, I don't know. The entire way the draft lottery system works in the NHL, I think is just it's not sufficient. I think it's rigged to the certain extent.
Absolutely is rigged.
I think that manipulate.
I don't like how so many teams have a shot at the first overall pick. I mean, if you look at a team like Washington. I mean, they had a down year this year, but were they Anaheim or Columbus?
A 6% chance of getting the first overall selection.
I mean, think about it. It's like it's greater than half the percent chance that Chicago had. I mean, and that's like what, it down number 8. I mean, it's like, come on.
Well, the issue is just years in the past, they've coincidentally happened to have a few certain teams that continue to win the draft lottery. It just seems that by pure coincidence, year after year, they win the draft lottery, right? You look at the Rangers. Hey, they just happened to win the draft lottery 2 years in a row. Oh, the same thing with the Devils.
No, they won. They got it once. They came in second another time.
They still won. The highest they could move up was from 12 to 2. So they won their spot, right? You can technically have 3 teams that can move, or 2 teams, I believe, that can move up, Grump.
It's too many teams involved in it. Way too many teams.
It should be done like the NFL does it. The shittiest team gets the number 1 overall pick. That's how it should be.
Agreed.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with that.
These teams get better.
There's too many teams. There's 16 teams involved in the lottery. Stop. Way too many teams.
Yeah.
Way too many teams.
And I'll say this here too, right? You look at what they've done. Look at the history of it. And that's what I wanted to get on before we kind of got derailed. The Rangers won year after year. The Oilers won year after year after year. 3 years in a row. Coincidentally,
3 out of 5.
Coincidentally, a team that they want to be a huge market, right? Because the Canadians love themselves some good hockey. They want the Canadian teams to be as good as possible. Just coincidentally, 3 out of 5 years, they happen to win the lottery. Just by pure coincidence. The Devils, they happen to win the lottery a few times. The Rangers happen to. The Blackhawks, I'll be interested to see if the Blackhawks can manage to win next year's lottery too.
Well, the thing is, you have the Blackhawks, who are a bigger market team. They're a popular team in the sport. And they had Jonathan Taves, who's going to be gone, no longer going to be playing for them. And Patrick Kane just left. So they need somebody to fill that spot. Boom, Connor Bedard. There's your new Patrick Kane, Jonathan Taves-esque player.
Yep. And you think about it like this. Why is this such a big deal? Did you guys happen to see the information on how much ticket or season tickets went skyrocketing for the Chicago Blackhawks just because they won the draft lottery?
I know that the season ticket base went up. I think it was like something like 1,500 from when they won the lottery to like the next day or two. 1,500 season ticket packages. I don't know if it was more than that. I think that was the initial estimate, something like that.
Okay.
Well, that's what you're talking about, right? You're talking about you get a talent like Bedard, and you're going to see more interest in the team.
Well, it's okay. I'm not even concerned about that. I'm just talking about money's at play. There's a substantial amount of money in the future success of franchise organizations at play, right? You go ahead and say, hey, we sold $2.5 million worth of season ticket plans for next year and we're abysmal. Just because, hey, we've got ourselves Connor Bedard and you get to watch that rookie season. It's ridiculous. I tell you, that is ridiculous. Yeah. So they sold 500 season tickets packages in 90 minutes, just 90 minutes after winning the NHL draft lottery last night. The Chicago Blackhawks sold 500 season ticket packages worth $2.5 million. We haven't stopped smiling and the phones haven't stopped ringing.
They should actually change that title to being given the NFL draft lottery.
NHL. Yeah.
Sorry, NHL draft lottery.
Yeah,
you bungled that acronym just like you bungled filling up the water earlier today.
That's right. What can I say? I'm 2 for 2 tonight.
Oh,
Grumpy is all upset.
No, 2 for 2 on bungling.
Look at Grumpy, man. He's all upset. Grumpy, cheer up, Grumpy. What will it take to get you to put a smile on your face?
Take a little pull off that warm grape drink over there. I'll cheer you up.
I can't wait till you need someone to walk your dog.
He's sleeping right now.
He could be shitting all over himself. I'll say, sorry, had to fill up the refrigerator with water. Don't have time. I got other things, more important things to do.
And you're very, very busy retired schedule, Grumpy.
That's right.
Filling up the water, how long does that usually take you?
Too long.
Okay. We've heard it here. Too long. Okay. Andrew L says Lou is back. Yippee! Success is in our future. Yeah, trust me. We're going to talk about that plenty on Wednesday. Plenty on Wednesday.
Future failure is insured for the New York Islanders. Period. That's all you need to know. There will be no off-season moves. None. We're going to run the same team back that's failed how many years in a row now? Run it back again. More failure. Same GM. Same failed. Oldest GM in the history of any sport GM.
I don't know if in the history of any sport, but that's what I was going to bring up. Lou Lamoriello is the oldest general manager in the history of the sport of hockey. Never has there been an older general manager than him. You'll be interested to know, out of individuals that have had contracts end when they're 70 or older, there's only been 6 general managers in the history of the NHL that have had a general managership end when they were 70 years or older. Lou Lamoriello is 2 of those 6 general managers. When he was 75 years old or 77 years old with the Toronto Maple Leafs, and then now he's in his 80s. He's the only general manager ever to manage a team past into his 80s. So,
can I say what's the winning percentage of those general managers? I'm going to bet probably pretty bad.
There's some. He is in good order here. When you look at some of the fantastic general managers you put him up with, Frank Selke. I assume they named the Selke Trophy after him.
I never heard of him as the GM.
Was the general manager for the California Golden Seals.
They sucked out loud.
Jim Rutherford was an interim general manager for all of 1 month and 16 days for the Vancouver Canucks.
He doesn't count.
He was 72 years old.
He doesn't count.
You've got Lou Lamoriello. Oh, looky there, Lou Lamoriello with the Maple Leafs.
When he was there. They didn't win a playoff series when he was there. That's a failure.
Cliff Fletcher was there for 10 months and 7 days for the Toronto Maple Leafs. He was 72 to 73. And then John Muckler for the Ottawa Senators from 2002 to 2007. 4 years, 11 months, and 17 days.
And how bad were they in that time period?
I assume putrid.
He was living off his Edmonton Oilers success. That's how he got that job. But he was retired by the time he was, what, 72? This guy's 72. A decade older.
Yep.
You're in uncharted territory of failure here.
TJ, I told you the Islanders figured, since they aren't going to win anything anytime soon, that they might as well break a record having the oldest GM.
They've already broken that. They've had that record.
They're trying to make it where it will be unbroken.
It's unbreakable.
No, because most people are dead by that age.
That's right. So if we get Lou Lamoriello to be a general manager until the day he dies, maybe, just maybe, that record will never be broken. And that's how the Islanders will always be remembered. They're a fantastic franchise that's breaking barriers, letting every old individual possible. They say age discrimination. We're going to make a stand against that today. We're going to have the oldest general manager in the history of sports.
Grump, how would you feel if the Islanders as an organization contact you on the phone and say, hey, is this the grumpy old man? And you say, well, yes, it is. And they say, we need you to come in as interim GM.
I could do a better job than the failure that's in there now.
Oh.
I tell you what, everyone knows what I think about his failure on the job, period. His slavish devotion to those old useless players because, hey, we've been here forever. I mean, Anders Lee's going, whoosh, Josh Bailey, whoosh, Kyle Palmieri, whoosh, Zach Parise, whoosh, name anybody, Matt Martin, whoosh, Cal Clutterbuck, whoosh. I mean, they're all ecstatic. Oh, thank God we still got a job because there's no accountability here. The last thing we want is somebody new coming in because we can't prove ourselves because guess what? We can't do it anymore because we're not very good.
Oh, man.
Fans, the only thing you can do is start rooting for your team to lose every single game, every single week. That's the only thing you can hope for because your team is never going to be good enough to win anything as long as he's there. I said that a few years ago, and I'm sticking with it. You will never win anything with Lou Lamoriello as your general manager. Never. Never freaking ever.
Sure. Yep. He could be the general manager for the next 30 years if he lived
Doesn't
that
matter.
to 110. Wouldn't win a damn thing. Yep.
Nope.
Tony G
when
said.
Was the last time he won something? When was the last time that he won something?
Oldest general manager. He won the General Manager of the Year award twice in a row, Grumpy.
That was given to him. An invented award, just like, whatever, Grandparents' Day. Made it up in the 80s. Just made it up. Card companies make that shit up so people spend more money. Mother's Day and Father's Day. You notice how they spread them out? Valentine's Day.
Happens to be almost like a month apart.
February. Mother's Day is in May. Father's Day is in June. Armistice Day. Whatever days, they invent these damn days just to generate sales. Stop.
Oldest general manager in the history of sports day, Grumpy.
Failed general manager day.
Hey, it's a good one. You going to give him a card?
Yeah. Death card.
Death card.
Like
Tony
Robert
G.
De Niro did in Apocalypse Now. Ace of spade. 3 clubs.
Tony G says, welcome to another episode of Family Therapy. Nyla Brownie says, absolutely. Gugun says, Henry Ruggs officially pleads guilty in fatal DUI case. Did you see how lenient of a sentence, by the way, he got?
That's why he pled guilty. Let me tell you something. Joe Schmuckstein or Grumpy Old Man or Son X or TJ, we're not getting that type of cushy sentence. Not happening.
Fair.
I couldn't hear because you can't speak over. What were you saying, X?
Oh, I said we would get life. I said we might even see the chair.
You wouldn't see the chair, but absolutely you're getting a stiffer sentence than that. It's the fact that he's a football player and he has money. He pled guilty, and that's, he gets less time.
Just for a recap, for those who are unfamiliar, Henry Ruggs hit somebody who I believe was at a stoplight going 156 miles an hour.
That's pretty fast.
Yes.
I mean, I don't think my car could drive that fast if it was dropped out of an airplane. But the worst thing, I bet you the reason why he got any time at all is because he killed the dog.
Yeah, he was driving a Corvette, I think.
Who the hell knows what he's driving? He's only facing 3 to 10 years.
Ridiculous. Cannot be
minimum
ridiculous.
3-year sentence.
Okay. If that was your daughter, Grump, what would you do? If he was
I don't have any daughters, thank goodness. But he'd probably wind up getting clipped somehow.
But 3 to 10 years of a sentence.
I'm not very forgiving. I'm not very forgiving for stuff like that. I mean, here's the thing. Accidents happen, but when you're doing something like that, that's not an accident.
That's endangerment, reckless endangerment.
And I'm not saying that he intended to kill her. Absolutely not.
He did when he stepped behind the wheel of that car, because they even have stuff put in place for NFL players where you can call at any time. They have a specific number. Well, they will have somebody come pick you up if you're drunk at a club or drunk somewhere. They will pick you up and drop you off at your house any time of day.
It's almost like everybody actually has access to that. It's something called Uber.
Well, no,
Uber,
it's a specific thing for NFL players where they don't pay a dime of it.
They shouldn't even care about paying a $50 little fare in order to get back home when they're making tens of millions of dollars.
Again, football players are stupid. The overwhelming majority are really freaking dumb. Of all the athletes, football players are the dumbest. Okay? Really freaking dumb.
Baseball is really dumb.
If you look at the IQs of football players, I'm going to bet they're really, really low. Not just athletes in general, but football players specifically.
Drew L said, TJ, I think it's about time where I announce your dismissal from the podcast. You've been skipping work too much lately, missing shows left and right. I know. I've been missing shows left and right. Yes, but we will have, we'll be back normal Wednesday on the Honors Never Say Die podcast. He's right, Son X. You came from his balls. Shay says here, hi, y'all. Grumpy Old Man, can you sing Happy Birthday to me for my birthday, which is today? Happy birthday, Shay.
Happy birthday, Shay. Of course I'll sing to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Shay. We're jealous of your connections.
Oh, there it is. That's perfect. Gungun says, Phil's Facts is not familiar with Son X's work. Plus, Son X familiar with Phil's Facts' work. Can we set up a date, time, and place for them to meet in person for tea and crumpets so they can pick each other's brains? I'm afraid it's not going to do much good. There's not much picking of Phil's Facts brains that need to be done.
I don't see that happening. Son X is a different breed of cat. I mean, you ask him to fill up the refrigerator with some water. He says he's going to do it, and he don't do it. That type of thing. This is as, he's returning the shop vac. I guess he wanted to clean his house, so he just brings a shop vac in there and just sucks whatever. Who the hell knows what's lying over everywhere. So he uses that. Then he brings it back, and he was Where should I put it? Wherever you got it from, X. That's you put it back where you got it from.
Hold on, Grumpy. You sound like you're really upset with X today. Why? Come on now.
Grumpy's got a vendetta out for me right now.
He didn't fill up the water. He said he was going to fill up the water.
Is this all stemming around not filling up the water?
Hey, when you say you're going to do something, you got to do it.
Oh, man.
Grump needs his precious bottle of water. Can't drink tap water, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Only Aquafina bottled water. If he drinks tap water, his insides melt, if you didn't know that.
Oh, my God.
The drink mix that I put in there is perfectly configured for the water bottle.
Really? What if I was to get you a Dasani bottle of water? Would that work?
Yeah, as long as it's the right ounces. As long as it has 16.9 ounces.
It's 16.8.
16.9.
Don't worry, I'll
16.8
for you, so it'll be enough.
16.9.
16.8.
Oh, watch! Oh, shit, man! It burned my hands. It's so hot.
Grumpy, get an ice pack out of the freezer. Cool your hands down right now, Grumpy.
Jeez.
Oh, no.
Got blisters on my hands now. Ooh.
We need to have you ready for the call-in show on Wednesday, perhaps, Grumpy.
Yeah,
it'll be fine.
Shay said, guys, keep your eye on Mets minor leaguer Nate Lavender and Josh Walker. I think they can get called up at some point this season.
I have a question for you, TJ. How close was it for you not getting the name Lavender? You did that pause. It was close.
Lavender. Lavender.
I was trying to call him Lavender.
Lavender.
Who knows? Everybody pronounces her name different these days. Mikey D says, Gross said that Lou is getting a 3-year extension yesterday.
It also comes with a coffin.
They're going to cover funeral costs. It's going to have funeral insurance. Holy shit. I did not know in the article it said that he was. I didn't read the article because I'm not behind the paywall on Newsday. I didn't know they said it was going to be a 3-year fucking contract extension. Miserable.
He does not make it to the end of that contract. He will not make it to the end of the contract.
You talking about firing or clauses?
I think he might get fired. Here's the thing: when you don't make the playoffs next year or the year after, there's no way that they bring you back for the third year. Absolutely no way.
Do you think they'll bury him underneath the ice to haunt the Islanders forever?
He's haunting them now when he's allegedly alive, quote unquote alive. I don't know how you could tell based on the performance he's had in that job. He's been acting like he's 3/4, like Weekend at Bernie's. Weekend at Lou's.
Frank says, hello, happy Mother's Day at all. That's right. Happy Mother's Day.
All the mothers.
That's right. How are you doing, Frank? Gungun says, so I think there's no debate anymore. The top 3 NHL goalies in correct order are Vasilevsky, Sorokin, Shesterkin. Can I get an amen? I'd put Sorokin as the best goalie this season.
Well,
I know Olmark's going to get the award. I know Olmark,
Hellebuck, and Sorokin are the three goalies for the Vezina this year.
I still think Sorokin's the best goalie.
No Shesterkin.
Oh, wow. Only if our goalie was as good as oh, wait a second. Oh, isn't that crazy?
I don't know. Certain member of certain fellow who is on the Islanders Never Say Die podcast lives and dies by Shesterkin. He thought he was that great this year. Not even top 4. Sorry.
Drew says Ja Morant for MVP. Drew, I know that the Knicks are out now. And it's just, it's got to be sad. And now it was a bad week for Drew. Knicks are knocked out. And I guess for a lot of Islander fans, and Lou Lamoriello signs potentially a 3-year extension. Holy shit, guys. We were hearing word that he was going to go. We were hearing, that was what we originally were hearing. Him and Lane were going to be moved out. But it looks like that obviously is not the case.
Nope.
We heard from a reliable source who had given us information before ahead of time on a few situations that looked like they were doing an internal search. And that's why they had not announced any of the information to the fans, or they had not addressed the public. And it kind of fit the narrative too. Okay, they haven't done any sort of announcement, any sort of speak to the public. And nope, not the case.
Now, Grump, who's been a worse GM? Lou or Garth Snow?
Lou.
Really?
Because he has money. Garth Snow was there. They were, hey, everyone knew what it was. We're not spending any money. Your team's going to be bad. Garth Snow never lost a trade. Never lost a trade. I mean, Lou has never won a trade. So, I mean, I guess they balance out. But, Lamoriello has, the blessings of ownership. You want to go out and trade for somebody, piss away all the assets, and give them 8-year, $8.5 million contracts, where you come out and say, hey, it's too much money and too much term. Dude, that's a failure on your part. And here's the thing. I'm not blaming ownership. Everything falls on the head of the general manager. Everything. Every freaking thing. Every failure, every success, which there aren't any, every failure falls in the head of the general manager. I don't want to hear everybody say, well, ownership okayed this. I don't give a shit if ownership okayed it. It's your job not to overpay for guys. That's your job. I mean, think about it. If he signs a 8 years, he should have done a rebuild. He absolutely should have done a rebuild. As soon as he got here, do a rebuild. Well, he doesn't want to rebuild. Tough shit. Tell him we're doing a rebuild. If you can't do it, you're gone.
Yep.
Think about it. If he lives that long, he'll be here 8 years. 8 years. He could have done a rebuild upon a rebuild. It's dark times for Islander fans. I'm sorry. Dark times ahead.
Frank says, CJ, how could you fall asleep 2 Saturdays ago and then not have a show last night? What the fuck?
Because
What
it's
the hell?
good.
I was out of town.
town.
I was out of town this last week, and the week before I just slept. I'm freaking out. I read Islanders will offer Shitterillo an extension. Well, that is true. They are going to offer him an extension. How the fuck could they be that stupid? It tells me they want the safe route with Lou, which keeps the money coming in.
What
I'll
money?
tell you one thing. Money's not going to be coming in when you're losing games. You're like you trading away your first round pick. We've had 4 years in a row. I wonder now with Lamoriello being here for another 3, if it'll be 5 or 6 or maybe 7 years in a row without a first round pick. Big thumbs up, guys. That usually leads to immediate success. Gungun says, TJ, did you remember to send Grumpy Game 4 of the 1980 Stanley Cup Finals Wayne Merrick goal? Missed by everybody. No call, puck goes through the net as he requested. Or did it disappear like a fart in the breeze? Yeah, I did not send that to him.
You did. You showed it to me.
We saw it. Yeah, we saw it.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought we did it on the show, but I'm like, I don't remember doing that outside of. Okay, perfect. To be honest, I'm just glad that Bedard is not going to the East, says Shay.
It just means 2 winnable games against Chicago. Those are 2 more losses for the Islanders. That's all it means.
Yeah, because Columbus is one of these teams that
Columbus will be better next year. Columbus will be better next year.
Absolutely, they will. Absolutely, they will. You continue to get these early selections, top 3 pick after top 3 pick after top 5 pick. It's how you continue to build a team that's more and more competitive.
I thought it's when you trade away your first round picks for guys in their 30s.
No.
And then they sign extensions when their careers are really basically over.
Milo Brownie said, let's talk about NHL teams who went for it all and lost. Do we want anybody from the Leafs or the Rangers?
We have nothing to trade the Leafs or the Leafs or the Rangers.
We
The
don't have
Rangers
either.
People say, oh, the Rangers are in cap. No, the Rangers aren't in cap trouble. They're not going to sign Tarasenko back.
And they're not signing Kane.
They're not signing Kane back. They have 12 and a half, almost $13 million in cap space. They got to, they have some guys they have to re-sign, some RFAs and a backup goalie, but so what? They can easily make that happen. Easily. Rangers is going to be fine. Toronto, they can roll it back. They won a playoff series this year. I think the pressure is off now of Toronto. Why would Toronto? What do we have to give Toronto that they want? Nothing. We don't have anything. Are you going to trade Barzal and Dobson and Sorokin for what? Oh, maybe Mark Giordano. Maybe Giordano. Maybe we could sell
Mark
it.
Giordano.
Maybe they'll trade all 3 of them and bring Tavares back.
Now that's a move that Lamoriello would do. Yeah, we really like them. Let's bring him back when he's 32. Yeah.
We think now he's really gained a lot of valuable experience. Oh my God.
The New York Islanders are going to be exactly the same team that you saw get beat to death by the Carolina Hurricanes, who were missing 3 top 6 forwards, as well as their starting goalie for the vast majority of the season.
Oh, but Grumpy, The Devils got beat by the Hurricanes too. And Grumpy, that means the Hurricanes are probably winning the Stanley Cup, Grump. And so if we didn't play the Hurricanes, we would have won this year's Stanley Cup, Grumpy.
Can't get out of the first round of the playoffs. I can't help you. Next year, Islanders aren't even making the playoffs next year. Not making the playoffs. Absolutely not.
Andriel said, don't dare touch Grumpy's water. He needs his great drink, X. Greg Prado. I've gotten your messages, Greg. I have to respond. I know. I saw them on Twitter. I'm doing a bad job. But he said, is Greg Prado's triumphant return, the Islanders never say die, fast approaching? It is. Or is it getting further and further away? I'll promise to be on my best behavior. You will, Greg.
Maybe we should bring Greg on this show.
That too. I was about to say, I'm good for both. We'll get a week of Greg Prado. But he sent me a book, Grumpy. I still have to get to you that I have not sent to you. So
what a surprise!
I'll send it to you the day before it has to be read.
You really think that TJ would have filled up the waters?
Yes, I would fill up the waters. Are you kidding me?
Sent him the book. It's been how many months you've had this book?
When Grumpy asks you to do something there, you're supposed to do it.
He asked you to send him that book. You didn't do that.
Grumpy didn't
asked you to fill up that water. You didn't do that.
So we're both failures. Must have been parenting.
Shay said, if they really wanted Lou back, make him foe or hire.
President of Hockey Operations.
Okay, gotcha. Make him president of hockey operations.
Make him foe.
How else would you read that, Grumpy? It's not a real effing word.
President of hockey operations. It's not a word.
Probably would have read it as Poho, but
Poho. Make him Poho. If they really wanted Lou back, make him Poho and hire of a younger guy to be general manager. If that was the case, I'd be more okay with it. That was apparently what was supposed to happen, but I guess things have changed. I don't know. We were told it was supposed to be, hey, he's going to be kicked upstairs to hockey ops. They're going to hire somebody. He's going to teach a young guy the ropes, but they wanted to go through a legitimate search. Based off of Gross's article, who is pretty accurate, that doesn't look like the case.
They let that old bastard talk him out of it. That's why you got to hire somebody right away. Just fire him immediately, like every other team does. Oh, you don't make the playoffs? Gone. Clean house. Just clean house.
And the other thing was Pierre Engvald is going to be signed back from what we hear, and Mayfield, from what we hear in those exit interviews, looks as good as gone. We'll talk about that too. Frank said, yeah, Greg, we need you back. Mikey D said, ironic how we kept Lou after 3 to 5 failed seasons, and the Rangers fired Gallant after 2 100-point seasons in Eastern Conference Finals run. I can't find another pro sports team that operates like the Islanders do.
There are plenty of them. Kansas City Royals,
Minnesota
Twins, Pirates, Detroit Tigers, teams that suck every year. They just ride it out. Hey, just give us our TV money. Just ride it out. We'll be fine. They don't spend to the top of the cap. Just whatever. Just ridiculous. Losing teams do that. That's what losing organizations do. They just look at the Islanders. How many years was Milbury GM? Never won anything under Milbury, right? Got to the playoffs, what, 1 year, 2 years? Garth Snow comes in. Same thing. How many years was he there? 10 years. I mean, you're talking about 3 guys are going to be there 30 years as general manager. And the Islanders never won anything. Perennial losers is what the Islanders have been.
The only thing we can do is stage a walkout or strike and not go to the games until Lou is gone. That's originally how the Islanders Never Say Die podcast started, was a walkout on Wong page. So I am banned from ever commenting or sharing or liking any post on Facebook Islanders related. The New York Islanders organization, I shit you not, this is not a joke, has removed my ability to post on any of their posts on their page, to like any of their posts, or to share any of their posts. I'm completely banned from interacting with the Islanders the Islanders Facebook page at all.
It's like they're the secret police, like the Gestapo in the old day or whatever they had in Russia. I mean,
I was over there every single game. I was just retweeting like walk out on Wong. I was just posting it in the comment section. You would not believe how many likes and followers. People were so pissed off with many, many losing streaks, and they struck me down. I said, you, the individual, you're never allowed to post. It wasn't like it was maybe like a 3-month ban or a 6-month ban. It's a fucking lifetime ban.
Dude, that's when you just keep making additional accounts and just keep posting it.
It's almost been a decade. And I'm not allowed to post on any New York Islander page freaking post. Not a one.
What does it matter if you post on their page? It's all lollipops and gumdrops over there.
Still.
Unicorns and show ponies. That's what they are.
You would figure an NHL organization would not concern themselves with little old me, but they certainly.
They're losers. They're losers. They're a losing organization. Period. The Islanders are a losing organization.
JP said, to be fair, Ottawa was good during the time Muckler was involved. They couldn't win the whole thing. Yeah, I'm seeing the furthest they got was the Stanley Cup Finals in 06-07. And then I think that he was canned. Or 7 and 8, he was canned, whatever the hell that was.
Was that the year the Kings won?
Was that X?
Was that the year the Hurricanes won 06, or did they win in 08?
No, 06, the Anaheim Ducks won.
Okay, they must have won in 08 then. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just now Peter Laviolette, pretty good coach, right? You would say pretty good coach.
Yeah.
Won a Stanley Cup. Got
Sure.
How many teams? I mean, I think he got Nashville to the finals one year, I believe, or close. And you know what? He doesn't make the playoffs 1 year in Washington. Gone. And they had so many injuries this year. Just gone. We don't care. We're not bringing you back. Gone. I just embracing mediocrity and failure. I don't understand it. I mean, professional sports is a results-oriented business. It should be, unless you're a member of the New York Islanders. Doesn't matter. Players, give them big, long extensions when they're in their 30s, like the golden parachute. I'd kick all their asses out the door.
I mean, think about soccer, how it's based there. If you don't win for certain teams, if you don't win a championship, you're gone.
Yep. The expectation when they come out and say Stanley Cup or bust, or we're winning the league, or we're being the best team in Europe, and you finish second or third in the league. Hey, we didn't win the whole Stanley Cup, but we made it to the conference finals, or we made it to the second round of the postseason, or hey, they're gone. Absolutely gone.
The expectation for this organization is not to win Stanley Cups. No. It's just to be competitive and maybe compete for a playoff spot. That's it. That's the expectation. Maybe compete for a playoff spot. Doesn't even matter if you don't make it.
Let's not
you'll make up some ridiculous excuse as to why you don't make it. And then, okay, give them another year. I believe in this group. How many years have we heard that from Lou Lamoriello? And why hasn't that old piece of shit come out since he's now been rehired? Why doesn't he come out and give us his assessment of the team? Was this year a success or a failure?
I'd say it was a success.
And here's the thing: when you have the media people there, they're only plants. You're only allowed to ask certain questions. You think they're the mainstream media, honestly.
They are. Anyway, we won't talk too much Islanders, though. We need to talk a little bit. But JP said Bill Torrey worked for Frank Selke, but they intentionally sucked. They gave away LaFleur. Maybe that's what the Islanders' current owners are trying to do. Currently suck. Who knows? Alexander, look at him. Alexander's new baby there, Grumpy. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
He gets a congratulatory sound bite. There it is. But hey, what's up, guys? I hope all is well. As you see, we welcomed a new baby born to the world. Fifth child. Wow, congratulations, Alexander.
Congrats.
Yep, without a doubt.
Just want to check in and say, what's up? Happy Mother's Day, Grump, to the warden.
Happy Mother's Day to the warden.
That's right.
There it is. Guggen said, I'd like to wish the warden a very happy Mother's Day. Absolutely. Alexander says, Ruggs will be out in 2 years.
Think about that.
Nuts, isn't it? Hey, he's back ready to play at the age of 26, 27 years old. Ready on his redemption arc. Yeah, okay. Jackson T said, I was talking with my dad, talking about Lou. Why the actual hell is he back? But the organization doesn't care.
They don't care about winning.
That's right.
Do not care about winning.
Don't care.
Don't care about it.
That's fine. These these fans have been so starved for any sort of success, and even the I'd say mediocrity, above average performance of the franchise in the last 5 years that the Islanders have had. Some years we've done well, some years have been absolutely mediocre, so above average, has given Islander fans something to be excited about. Yeah, let's buy all the merchandise. Yeah, let's go back to all the games. Yeah, let's support the Islanders full force. The only way it gets changed by not supporting with your dollars. That's the only way you can get them put away.
We're the Winnipeg Jets of the Eastern Conference, except we're not fun to watch, but the same results, right?
Sure.
Sometimes they squeak in as the 8th playoff team, or they don't make the playoffs. Same thing. You never think, wow, Winnipeg's going to win they're going to win Stanley Cup. You don't think that. Do you think that, I don't know, St. Louis Blues, yeah, they're going to win a Stanley Cup every year. Nope, not happening. Detroit Red Wings, nope. Buffalo.
Yeah, the Red Wings are winning the Cup next year, baby.
Buffalo, nope. I'd rather be Buffalo than us right now.
Yep. Ian M says here, Nelson and Newhook in Colorado's first. Yeah, we're not going to do anything like that. Oh, you're just going to double down on the same exact team, Ian, with Lou Lamoriello back.
He's not going to make – there will be no moves made this offseason. Maybe a veteran defenseman. Maybe
we make all of our moves at the trade deadline. That's why. Because
that's right. So you can trade away any future assets. That's what he does.
Shay said, guys, I think I might know what the magic grape water is from. I think ownership is scared of Lou. They'll never fire him, and it's the only way he's not here is if he's dead.
So we should root for him to die? Is that what you're saying, Shay?
They need to bury Lou Lamoriello underneath the ice.
That's what I said. He'll haunt the Islanders for an eternity.
Oh, God.
He's doing it now.
Mother's Day was invented by Hallmark to sell cards.
Absolutely. All these things are made up days to drum up their business. Every single one.
JP says here, Vasilevsky looked like he lost a few miles per hour off the old fastball.
He was not good this postseason.
Shay sent me this, and I thought this was kind of interesting. They're hearing of a scuttlebutt from the ESPN insiders that the NHL asked to move the Vegas-Edmonton game to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then they said, hearing that the NHL asked ESPN to move baseball to ESPN2, but the ESPN declined. Same rumor is that ESPN also got declined to trade games with TNT.
The NHL is the redheaded stepchild of ESPN. They don't care about hockey.
Instead of having a Game 7 primetime game, because it's Game 7 between Edmonton and Vegas, right?
Game 6.
Game 6. I apologize.
I think it's
Game 6.
But 10 o'clock on a Sunday night?
Yeah.
Who the hell's going to be up at that time?
Nobody cares. Nobody cares about the NHL. ESPN doesn't care about them.
Even though they own the rights. Yeah.
They don't care. I guess they don't draw big enough.
They use it as a write-off.
Yeah, the only way to affect Lou Lamoriello, make sure that we don't draw as much.
Stop going to games.
Stop going to games.
Boo 'em. Right? Boo them as soon as you just boo them from beginning to the end.
Yep.
Team's not going to get any better. Nothing will be done this offseason. Nothing. Anyone tells you any different, oh, well, we traded. I don't care. You've done nothing in the offseason. What has he ever done in the offseason? Nothing. Never.
Yeah. I'm going to try to limit. I don't want to make this just an Islanders podcast. I know we didn't have an Islanders podcast yesterday, but let's look here at a few of. I want to get your opinion on a few things. This was in the news. Do you remember Matt Ariza, the punter who was drafted by the Buffalo Bills last year?
Third-round pick.
He played for Arizona State. A third-round pick for a punter.
No, not Arizona State. I believe it was San Diego State.
I believe it was Arizona State, but I'll look it up. Anyway, he was a third-round pick. And for a punter, right? Yeah, played for San Diego State. You're right, Grumpy. For a punter, being a third-round pick, that's usually a waste of a selection. That's a high pick to pick for a punter or a kicker who literally comes out there maybe, depending on the game, if you're a punter, maybe you go out there 6 or 7 times a game. To use a third-round pick when you have every down players out there and you pick a punter, that is a huge, huge, huge selection. You must think of the world of this guy's talent. Well, last year, Matt Ariza, right after he was drafted, they happened to pop up there. I think it was a gang rape allegation or an accusation, I'm sorry, of gang rape. And Matt Ariza, here it is, knew, and he claimed he had spoken, not claimed, I'm sorry, he's spoken of his innocence from day one. And what had happened was just this last week, new evidence now shows that former Bills punter Matt Ariza was not present at the house when the woman allegedly was raped, per Dan Wetzel. Evidence instead showed that the accuser was having consensual sex with several other men that night. Ariza being falsely accused of gang rape caused him to lose his job. The woman that accused Ariza shouldn't go unpunished for ruining his life. Hopefully, he gets another shot at the NFL and gets his life back on track.
Do you remember? Go ahead, X. Go ahead.
And say should sue her and her family for however much he lost.
You can't. Okay, you can't say, "Hey, your net worth is $10,000, and I'm going to sue you for the $5 million I should have."
How much he was getting when he was signed?
Anyway, no, you're not going to be able to do that. But go ahead, Grumpy.
Okay, for me, there's two things, and one's bigger than the other. Honestly, I'll touch on that last. This woman, she just flat out lied, right? Who knows why? Maybe he wouldn't bang her like she was getting banged by everybody else at that party. And maybe she was just hoping that he would. And he said, no idea, right? Do you remember what I said when Buffalo cut him? Again, we're in the time of guilty until proven innocent.
Sure.
They should have kept him and let it play out. You could always cut him. Or you can always cut him if you find out he's guilty. What did the cowardly NFL do? You know, the NFL put pressure on them and said, no, you got to get rid of this guy. Makes us look bad. And that's all they care about.
He'll always be known as a gang rape guy.
I'm not finished. So the NFL, all they care about is how things look. All they care about is the optics. They don't care between what's right and wrong. Absolutely do not. Right? This kid is never going to get another shot in the NFL. No one is going to take a chance on him. I don't care that he averaged, he kicks the ball 80 yards on a consistent basis. They're never going to take a shot on him because social media will go wild, even though it's proven that he wasn't there and he didn't do it. Here's the biggest problem. When a woman does something like this, what's it do for other women who are actually sexually assaulted? It makes people outside say, you know what? She's lying. I don't believe her. Because when they see something like this, particularly against a person who, was a celebrity, and I guess Ariza was kind of a celebrity being an NFL draft pick. So if you see something like that, are you going to believe the woman or are you going to believe the guy when he says, I had nothing to do with it? Because when a woman lies like this to get some type of vendetta or some type of money, I don't know what she was after, it ruins it for other women who are actually sexually assaulted. And that's the worst thing. Sure. Because if a person like me or you or, Johnny down the street said, you know what, I don't believe him because you know what, this is what women are doing. They're accusing these guys of something to get something out of it. And they're actually assaulted. That's a problem. The women who are actually assaulted, maybe they're going to say, you know what, I don't want to go through that. I'm not gonna report it. And that's a shame. It really is.
Yeah. It's bad all the way across the board. I mean, like,
she should go to jail. She should absolutely go to jail. I don't know, whatever the crime would have been, she serves that time. 5 years, 8 years, whatever it is. I don't know.
Yeah, because here's the thing too for Matt Ariza, and this is the I think it's just so many people are affected in such a shitty way in this situation because Matt Ariza, even if he gets another chance in the NFL, once the rumor, once it comes out that hey, I'm the person who was sexually assaulting somebody, even though you could be proven not to be there at that party, not to be there in that vicinity, and your name somehow got thrown in, you could have been just chilling at your dorm room or chilling in your house, drinking beers on a Friday or a Saturday, or just playing video games. And you're like, hold on, I've been accused of rape? What? And here he is. He'll always be known as a guy who had some sort of, sexual allegation, or the guy who was accused of, because he's a punter. It's not like his play is that of Kobe Bryant or that of Ben Roethlisberger or that of they're fantastic every down type of guys. They're always known. A punter goes unnoticed. If you know the punter's name, usually there's an issue because he's a shitty punter. So, punters usually better seen, not heard from. But this guy, if he ever gets another chance, it's going to be really tough to knock that name he'll have always, and that connotation will always have tied to his name.
Yeah, I know they made a movie about the kid. I think it was about the kid from Baylor who was supposed to be a huge draft pick. He was the one who during the bowl game had like his shirt up, his jersey up, and was like shredded. They made a movie about him, and he was falsely accused of rape, and ended up it ruined it because he was in prison for so long. He was gonna get drafted, never ended up getting drafted, and that was it. His life was over.
Or the Duke lacrosse case, which was really big down here, and the women lied, and those guys wound up getting a huge settlement from Duke and the NCAA. I mean, but here's the thing: they lost jobs over it. Yep. And that's the thing with this kid. He should sue the Bills in the NFL as well, because they didn't wait for due process. They just in essence fired him, is what they did. And I just don't think that's right.
Yeah, Sean Oakman was the guy from the Baylor Bears.
Yeah,
he was. I'm reading that there. Yeah, on April 13th of 2016, he was arrested in Waco after being charged with a woman for sexual assault. According to the police affidavit, Oakman met the accuser at the bar and asked if she wanted to go to his off-campus residence. They walked to Oakman's duplex, where, according to the women, he forced her into the bedroom, forcibly removed her clothes, forced her onto the bed, and sexually assaulted her. On July 20th of 2016, the grand jury in McLean County indicted Oakman on charges of second-degree felony assault. The charges of the case in February 26th of 2019, so 3 years. 3 years to find out. After the jury deliberated for 45 minutes, Oakman was found not guilty of sexual assault. Again, that could be a multitude of things, but okay. So they had it. Yeah, it's one of those where it's like, yeah, he plays in the CFL. He played in the CFL, but he never wanted to make anything. You take 3 years off of playing a professional sport or playing a sport,
And he was lined up. He was lined up to be a draft pick in the pros.
Yeah, he was at the NFL Combine. Yeah, think about that, because it happened on April 13th of 2016. What's the NFL draft, like 26th? So it happened right before the NFL draft.
Right.
In 3 years out. Anyway, it's just one of those to where I hope Ariza finds his way back in the NFL, gets a chance with somebody. I mean, because the talent was there, right? That's why you draft a guy in the third round.
Third round for a punter.
It's not even like a kicker. We're not even talking about a kicker who puts points on a board. This is just a son of a bitch who changes the field position.
Yeah.
So, hopefully the talent will outweigh, the false accusation that, got him, affected his career. It was just funny to see that update. We're like, holy crap. It's like we talk about things so frequently on this show. It was one of the first, like last year. Think about that. That was over last year. It feels like just yesterday we were talking about that accusation. They've got some Will Levis highlights from camp I want to show you guys. I'll tell you one thing. I feel like Will Levis is going to be making a lot of teams doubt and second guess the reason why they didn't select him.
I love them.
I'm not saying he's going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread, but I think he's got the ability to be an everyday starter in the NFL. Oh my gosh.
I like the music.
Yeah, thanks. Throwing on the move like that, back shoulder throw, drops it right in. He's got a nice spiral and a pretty ball. He's not going to get as much time as he probably gets back there or had gotten in the past. But he's a guy who I think does have the potential to be a real successful NFL quarterback. He's got a smooth throwing motion that's really easy to repeat as well.
So you feel he'll be better than Ryan Tannehill?
Yes.
It's Ryan Tannehill. This is the last year of his contract there.
And he wants out, and they want him out.
Well, okay, they're not going to cut him loose. They're absolutely not going to do that. He'll be there, and if the season starts going south, they'll sit him on the bench and transition to Levis. That's what's going to happen. And I think Levis is going to have I don't think Tennessee's that great a team, but what's going to help Levis? The fact that they have Derrick Henry in the backfield. That's going to help them. I don't think their wide receiver group is very good.
Well, it was, and then they traded away A.J. Brown, but
right. That was a dumb deal. A GM lost his job over that. You make a bad trade, you lose your job in the NFL.
That's you make a bad trade, it doesn't pan out immediately, you lose your job.
I mean, right. Who was the kid? Treylon Burks.
Treylon Burks.
Slow.
Yep.
Just no. I mean, I knew going in, I'm like, you got rid of A.J. Brown for this guy? I mean, what's the reason? You didn't want to pay him? I'm sorry. You have talent like that. It's not like he's a jerk either. He's a solid locker room guy. Those are not guys you move. You keep guys like that.
Yep.
Something that's, I think, funny to talk about here too.
I'm rooting for Will Levis, by the way. I'm rooting hard for Will Levis.
I think he'll be successful.
Yeah.
The guy who's looked over like that. Now, I'm not sure if you guys happen to see this, but NFL agent David Carter, the fellow right here in the middle, is under investigation for offering bribes to teams so that they will draft his players. He had 23 players in this year's, he had 21 players. He had 21 players in this year's draft stock. And that's what, these agents, they'll pick up a certain recruiting class and they'll say, we're going to represent X amount of players. They pay for, the training. They pay for, any sort of living expenses. Depending on the agent, they'll pay for additional items, et cetera. But he had 21 players he was representing in this year's 2023 NFL draft. He was bribing NFL organizations and scouts with times at his family's vacation homes and his company's vacation homes in order to draft his players, in order to draft the players on his class of this year's 2023 NFL draft recruits.
Well, now here's my thing. Don't they have in Vegas gambling on draft picks, on who's going to be picked when? So is that not rigging selections?
I don't even know they have stuff. I'm sure you could bet on anything.
Yeah, they have betting on draft picks on who gets picked where. They absolutely do.
Let me ask you this: what were the odds of Will Levis going number 1 overall? Would you have made a substantial fortune if Will Levis went first overall?
I would have lost a substantial amount of money. I'd have Will Levis to go number 1 overall.
I'm sorry, but we'll get back to it. There's again, it's a form of bribery per the NFLPA. You cannot be bribing other teams and members of organizations at weekend getaways at your vacation properties that he owned.
So what?
Draft that player.
So what? So what? If a GM wants to draft that kid, and what should the GM be doing? What should he be doing? I think it's worse on the guy who accepts the bribe. It's worse if a guy accepts a bribe as opposed to the guy who makes the offer. Because they should just.
Yes, I agree with that.
I mean, what's his job? His job is to get guys in the NFL. That's his job. His job is to, hey, you sign with me, we're going to get you in the NFL by hook or by crook. Who does it hurt? Does it hurt the kids? No, it helps them. Right? Ostensibly, it helps them get picked and sent to the draft. Who does it hurt? Oh, it hurts the NFL. It hurts the badge. The badge's image. Who gives it? I mean, that thing is as freaking tarnished as it could possibly be, being in bed with gambling to begin with. Now, so what? He offered you a weekend at a vacation home. Well, isn't your job as a GM to pick the best player? So if you don't pick the best player and you pick somebody to take a vacation, that's on you, brother. It's not on the guy who's offering.
Exactly. Right? You shouldn't, right? I don't, yeah. Because one NFL general manager anonymously said, yes, absolutely, I was offered a weekend vacation at one of his vacation homes in order to draft this player. So
what? Maybe he thought that was a good location for his client. So what?
Yeah, but I will tell you this. It's just like when you have a whole bunch of unrestricted free agents who don't get drafted, I promise you that there are situations where they say, well, right now we've got a few teams that we're determining between. hey, the Eagles, we're determining between the Titans, we're determining between a whole bunch of teams and landing spots. Well, my guy is one of the top tier undrafted free agents. Well, if you go ahead and want to sign him, I need you to sign Johnny as well to give him a chance, because that would work well together. And it's, hey, your job as the agent, it's really easy to coax the guy who's a young man who's been trusting you along the way to say, yeah, let's sign with the Dallas Cowboys instead of the Tennessee Titans for this position, because I think it's a better landing spot with you. Oh, and isn't this a shock? The guy you've been working out with, your teammate, your fellow offseason training buddy, happens to have signed at the same exact location.
Particularly when the money is the same.
Yep.
You know, some of these guys get signing bonuses or whatever, but a lot of guys don't. And you'll see a lot of guys from one school come into one. Maybe they've seen them. Maybe it's a package deal. Who knows?
Sometimes they absolutely are.
Here's the thing. The NFL is not squeaky clean. I hate to tell you, just not. Now we have Thursday nights. How many Thursday night games? Black Friday games, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. How long before you get a Tuesday and a Wednesday game every week?
How long before the schedule's extended?
They will.
We've already done that once.
I know.
Eventually it will be 18 regular season games. Absolutely will be.
Do you think he'll ever go up to 20?
No. I think 18 is as far as it can go.
They're now playing games in Germany. They want to have. I'm just like, yikes.
Right. Look at how many games they have overseas now.
Those games are a waste. And
the British games, the England games, and then the German games. They used to do the games in Mexico, but I don't think they do that anymore.
They're going to start doing those more in Mexico as well.
Maybe they tried to start a league in Mexico.
Well, I mean, I think they'd love to have a team in Mexico. They'd love to have it. They have infrastructure problems there, though.
Yes.
The stadiums are just not up to snuff.
He plays at the Azteca.
Well, here's the thing. You know how they can make those stadiums NFL ready? Put in gambling kiosks in the stadium. They don't give a shit if it falls down around the people, as long as they get that gambling money.
Now, this is Drew L. sent this to us. It said, Stephen A., after seeing Grumpy's recent waiver wire transactions in fantasy.
Jermaine ain't the answer. I want to hear those names. You want to lose a championship, all it takes is one team to be superior to you.
I don't know, Grumpy. Apparently, you've been making shitty waiver wire pickups.
Yeah, I was trying to do a little mix and match this week. My team didn't hit this week. My team in that league is the best offensive team in the league. This week, they didn't hit at all. That's why I lost.
Do you know who you
and
played?
The worst thing was, I don't care if I lose to anybody in that league. I lost to TJ.
Yeah.
I'd rather go 2-12 and beat TJ twice than
I didn't even know I was playing you until last night.
Yes.
I was like, who the hell am I playing this week in fantasy and how's it going? And I was beating your ass, Grumpy. Beating it.
My team did not hit this week.
Oh, man. Did you see, by the way, that Andy Dalton is going to start for the Carolina Panthers to start the season right now? And OTAs, he's going to take the first team reps. No problem with that. And Bryce Young, I believe, is going to be backing it up as well.
Look, I be riding through my old hood, but I'm in my new whip. Same old attitude, but I'm on that new shit. They say they gonna ride me. See me never do nothing. They know that's the reason they gonna end up.
Bryce Young versus the Falcons week.
Yeah, apparently everybody said he looked extremely small during training camp reps.
Because he is small.
He's a small guy.
He's tiny. That's why he's not going to pan out. It's a waste of a pick. It was a
He'll pan out.
He'll
absolutely pan out.
He won't pan out. All the midgets don't work in the NFL. There's a reason for it at quarterback. You can't be a midget and be successful in the NFL at quarterback. Can't be done.
Drew Brees sucked.
How big is Drew Brees, you think? It has a lot to do with hand size.
6 foot.
It's more to do with your hand size. 6 foot. Bryce Young is like 5'10" and a few inches.
5'11".
5'11".
5'10" and 3/4. He's 5'10". He's tiny. He's tiny. You blow on him.
Well,
he does.
5'10" and 3/4 is 5'11". It's not 5'10".
10 and 3/4, Scrump.
Okay, and I think Drew Brees was 5'11" and 3/4.
Okay.
So he was an inch shorter.
Yeah,
and this kid can move. That wasn't Drew Brees' game. You're going to have to protect for him. Absolutely. Here's the thing. Panthers going to win that division. I feel confident in that.
You're ridiculous. You're nuts.
Will win the NFC
Who's winning
South.
that division, TJ?
Atlanta? You're
the
picking
Saints.
Atlanta?
It's the Saints. No, he measured it at 5'10" flat at the NFL Combine. 5'10" flat for Bryce Young. His hands are freaking tiny. 9 3/4 of an inch. He's got tiny midget hands.
Pickett's hands were 8 and 1/4. He was stretching his damn fingers. Okay, here's the thing. Bryce Young's a better quarterback than Kenny Pickett.
Not true.
Book it.
Not true. Absolutely
Book
not
it.
true. You want to know what you can book? You want to know what you can book? Kenny Pickett lighting the world on fire.
Kenny Pickett's smallest hands in the history of the draft.
Book it now. Pickett had 8.5 inch hands, Grump.
He had smaller hand than Tom Dempsey, who didn't have a hand.
Damn.
The guy who kicked the field goal for New Orleans Saints 63 yards against Detroit Lions in 1970. No hand.
The only way the
His
Saints
hand, without having one, was bigger than Kenny Pickett's.
The only way the Saints are winning the division is they have to hope Derek Carr cries every game to soak the field and make the playing conditions absolute shit so his team can maybe sneak by with some wins.
I'm going to tell you one thing. Kenny Pickett, and Stephen Porter just let me know too. Kenny Pickett for president is right. Absolutely, Stephen Porter. Absolutely. I'll tell you one thing too. Kenny Pickett this year, watch out. I'm saying 3,500 passing yards at least for Kenny Pickett if he stays healthy. At least.
Yeah, they'll be losing all the time. They'll be throwing a whole game. They'll be down so many by the second quarter because they'll have a couple of turnovers.
Get ready. Najee Harris going to be running wild now that freaking Kenny Pickett.
How did you do last year?
Not too good.
How did you do last year?
Who was that?
Najee Harris.
Not well. They had that Trubisky bastard at the helm of the quarterback until they put Kenny Pickett. Kenny come back Pickett in there. And he showed everybody what they've been missing out on.
Next, move along.
Kenny Pickett, Grump.
These aren't the drones you're looking for. Move along.
Okay. Let's look this up here. I think you'll find this interesting. Jake Ottinger. Do you like this? The NHL put a little graphic up, and they said, in Jake Ottinger's wins and losses, they make sure to let you know his record. You'd be shocked. And every single one of Jake Ottinger's wins, he won the game. And every single one of his losses, he lost the game. And the fans on Twitter are just, roasting the shit out of the NHL. Why the hell was that graphic included that his record in wins and losses, 7-0 in his wins and 0-4 in his losses?
Here's my thing. Did the broadcaster who was doing the coverage actually go over that record?
Yes.
Jesus. It's bad that they didn't even see. I would have skipped over that shit.
What they should have just done, they did the record. They could have just left out the -0 and 0-4 and just put wins 7, losses 4, and then the breakdown that way. That's how they could have done it.
You know, the announcer probably went, in wins he's 7-0, and in losses he's 0-4.
Because they don't know a damn thing about hockey.
Well, they don't know what to do.
Here's the thing. Another difference is they score a lot more goals when they win as when they lose. You could do that in anything, right?
What a shot.
You're gonna give up more goals than you do when you lose games. That's just the way it's gonna be.
Look at this. He's undefeated when he doesn't lose, says Booger McFarland. I'm telling you, they're just continuing. It's like a whole bunch of people are retweeting it.
Not a single loss.
Yeah, just roasting the shit out of them. It's just come on, NHL. You got to do better than that. I want to ask you about this. Talking some more NHL news. Did you happen to see the Florida Panthers beat the Toronto Maple Leafs?
Yes.
Yes, they did. They only beat them 3 times in Toronto, though.
I want to get your opinion on this. Now, this is making the rounds. Toronto fans have a gripe about it. Canadian fans are saying, "Hey, I'll even say that this was a bad non-call." This is the play that led directly to the goal. Now, I want to ask: do you think this should have been called interference? Do you think this should have been waved off? What do you think about this play? So he collides with him. His stick goes ahead and takes out the guy's skate. Do you think that should have been interference?
Okay. You realize they called nothing in that game.
Well, look at this. Look at the hand.
I understand. Is it a penalty? Yes. They didn't call they called one penalty in the second period in that game. The whole game. The referees just let them go all game. Now you want to pick one out at the end? It doesn't matter. Believe me, Toronto threw the puck out of the rink and, without it touching anything, and they still came over and discussed it for 5 minutes before saying, yes, it's a penalty. Even though that's an automatic penalty. They did not want to call a penalty. They did not want to call a penalty in that game.
How about this one? When this guy's over here jousting and grabbing another, we usually call like grabbing another person's stick. I wonder what the official's doing when he's looking at this. And he's like, well, damn, this is crazy. Gudas has 2 sticks in his hands right now. This is nuts.
You know what he's saying? I'm just here to drop the puck today. Because that's all they did. That's all they did. Just drop the puck. They didn't call any penalties. You can't complain about one because it happened for both sides all game long.
This is the one that led to the goal, and that's.
But I don't care. I don't care when the referees set the tone for the game at the beginning. When you don't call anything all game long, you're going to get away with stuff like that. If you call everything, you don't even try that. The players respond to how the game is being called. I've said that 100 times. If you're going to call the game loosey-goosey, anything can go, they're going to take advantage of it. If you call it really, really tight, the players back off. It's a better game when they don't call not anything, but when it's limited penalties. The game is better. There's more flow to it. I understand why they want to do it. Was that a penalty? Yes. So were about 15 other calls that were not called in that game. Who knows how the game winds up? Here's the thing. Florida's a better team. They beat Toronto easily. Toronto was not good in these playoffs. They just were not. Vasilevsky gave him the first series, gave it to him. He was weak because Toronto was outplayed by Tampa the vast majority of that series, and they were totally outplayed by Florida. Totally.
I was also going to say that I have no sympathy for a fan base that throws shit on the ice.
Wow, you must have no sympathy for the New York Islanders because the New York Islanders have thrown shit on the ice before, too, after winning games.
No, I mean, I'm saying when they were losing, throwing shit on the ice.
If you're winning and throwing shit on the ice, it's different.
I mean, if you're winning, you're celebrating. Like a hat trick, like obviously you throw a hat on the ice.
No, how about beer bottles?
How about beer bottles and beer cans? How about stuff like that? Plastic bottles from Coke bottles out there. And how about that, X? What do you think of that?
Depends if it was worthy or not.
Oh, X is just a Stan, man. He's just an average everyday Stan. Oh, man. Okay, so you know what I'm looking forward to?
This dude is a unit right here coming out.
As things start to heat up, as the NFL comes back around, this was I think from a few years ago, but it's good to throw it back. The Eagles were losing 31-0 at this point, and Eagles fans be doing Eagle things. This is just a good throwback fight. Oh, this is maybe one of the first times we see guys from lower positions beat the guys at high ground.
Oh!
Oh!
Not anymore. He's not.
And the Philly fan tackles him down.
No, the Philly fan's getting run down there. He's trying to escape. There's no escape, Philly boy.
Look at him. His wife's like, stop it. You're going to get arrested, you idiot.
Tough shit.
Look at Carson Wentz. That's how he played for the Eagles, just kind of as a standby right there. Just, let him go.
He's like, yeah, look at these freaking idiots over here. Philly fans. Oh, my God. I'm looking forward to some more baseball fights.
They live in that shithole city, so I don't blame them. They're angry. They're jealous. They went down to Florida. They realized how nice it is there. Their team got the shit kicked out of them, and they figured, you know what? I got a miserable life. He took a beating for it, too.
Do you like how he goes? I mean, like he's picking a fight with somebody.
Spit beer at one of them. Look at that trajectory.
No, that's beer. That's beer being thrown.
I think somebody spit it.
No, somebody threw it. No, it's this girl. It's this lady right here. She's got her can half crumpled. My God, she crumples the hell out of that can when she gets hit. I don't know. Maybe that is a spit. I don't fucking know.
It's not a spit. Somebody threw something. He's spitting on it. How much? I mean, how much water you got to have in your mouth to have a spit take like that?
Yeah, let me ask you this, Grumpy. What do you think about this guy right here? I want you to look at him. this guy, this Brady fan right here.
No, look at the one.
A little bit of a coward. Kind of like when Brady gets touched in the pocket, Grumpy, how he kind of fell down. This guy I was expecting a little more from here, Grumpy. I'll let you watch it. And that type of haircut, I was expecting a little more. Look at him. Look at him. He's cowering down. He's on his ass already.
No, I think he got. Oh, look at that number 20. Number 20 is going to catch a beat. There he goes. Come on back. Here, Mike
Evans. You complain about Mike Evans having no heart, Grumpy. Mike Evans
is Tom Brady. They're holding him back because he's a killer. That's it. Do whatever you got to do.
Oh, my God.
You don't go into enemy territory and start showing your ass. You deserve to get your beaten. You deserve it. I don't even know what started with this guy, why he just started yanking a guy down there.
Oh,
maybe he thought it would give his team the push they needed, like in hockey. You know, when you start fights, it energizes your team. Maybe he's thinking
for the next game. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, that's a good one. Now, I'm not sure if you guys saw Zach Flaherty got tossed from a game. I'll be honest with you guys. He did something absolutely. I'm sorry. Christian Walker, was tossed from a game. I'll let you watch what happened here.
3 games in the Miami series. Didn't go that time either. Didn't offer. And it's 3-1. Alfonso Marquez.
What did he do? Clap?
The appeal to first base from DeJesus said no. Christian Walker can't believe it. Here comes Jeff Bannister for an explanation. I think Alfonso Marquez overruled the no swing call at first.
He's calling out pitches.
3 games.
He was clapping because when they pointed down to the first baseline to see if he went around on the swing on that bunt, he went ahead and said no, he didn't. And he started clapping. And he got tossed from the fucking game.
Games in the Miami series.
I don't think he went, by the way.
He said he didn't go. He just clapped.
3-1.
And he just got tossed by the home plate ump.
Alfonso Marquez.
I'm telling you, the more and more.
The appeal to first base from DeJesus said no. Awful. Christian Walker can't.
Go back to that. Look at the ears on this. What is this guy, Dumbo? Does he fly around the stadium later, pick up peanuts and start shooting them at the fans? Look at the ears on that son of a bitch. Look at that.
Well, my question is this:
put the high top in the middle. Have him flying down.
My question is this: are the umpires worse than usual this year?
Why the hell are his ears so damn big?
Let me ask you this:
are the boxers, the dog breed boxers? They clip that shit back. His parents should have clipped his damn ears back when he was a kid. Look at him. He's angry because he steps on his ears when he goes into the shower every day. That's why he's angry.
Grump being ruthless.
I tell you.
This guy sucks.
Well, my question is, I really am interested to see
what's his name? Ump Lamarillo? He's probably a Lamarillo guy.
Or kind of like Angel Hernandez. Who the hell are the really terrible ones? He's a bad one. Who are the other terrible umps?
The 3-2. And strike 3 call.
3-2.
Yandy was on his way to first. And he's not happy.
Oh my God. Like, holy shit. The umps this year are just miserable, as they always are. The reason
get robots back.
Get the robots. I'm going to tell you what. The umpiring has been so bad, like up and up, particularly low balls. You're giving balls that are like, and the catchers are framing them, but it's like, dude, I mean, these things are like 2-3 inches low, and you're missing those calls. It's not good. They need the robot umps. Get rid of Dumbo, all his buddies.
I was about to say, I'm in favor of the robo umps now too. It looks like, at least for calling balls and strikes. So I'll let you watch this one. Obviously, you can tell by the scene and atmosphere this is some sort of minor league ball. But I'll let you watch this. I mean, like, I'm in favor of the robo umps. I'm sorry, just the umpiring is just shitty these days.
Out. What the hell?
Right in front of the ball. Dude, you've got to be shitting me. Like,
Depending on get in the head.
What the hell was he doing running it? X, let me ask you this. What would give the umpire reason, number one, to go onto the field of play like this when he knows the ball is going to be thrown to first base? Why would he be
seeing as there's nobody on base at all? Or was there a guy on first?
Was there somebody on first going to second?
Yes, that's
there
what
was
it looks
somebody on
like. Somebody on first going to second. His whole entire job is to look at first base to see if that runner is out.
Okay, it's a minor league game. I didn't see any umpire down the third baseline, and I didn't see an umpire in the middle of the field. So I'm like, okay, were they short umpires for this game?
There's an ump right there in the middle of the field. There's an ump right there in the middle of the field. Yes,
I don't think
right there in blue.
Oh, isn't that a player?
No,
there's an ump right here.
There's an ump right there.
Coming to focus here.
Absolutely, his only effing job is to pay attention.
Isn't that the second baseman?
No.
Oh, Grump.
Are you sure that's not the second baseman?
Go back to the beginning of the thing when the ball's hit, and you'll see. Pause it.
Here's your umpire.
There's an umpire. Yeah, okay, my bad.
My point exactly. His only job is to look at first base to see if that guy's safe or out.
I don't know what the hell he's doing.
And
so let me ask you this: why was he on the other side? X, what the hell is going on?
I think since they're sponsored by Old Smoky Moonshine, he might have had himself a couple of sips before the game, and he stumbled in front of the ball. That's what I think happened. Either that, or he's in bed with gambling and decided to rig the game.
Oh shit! Oh man, they need to go ahead and get a few runs on the board as early as the first inning. They're trying to do anything they can to go ahead and help him out. I'm just like, the umpiring this year have just been, it's been awful, guys. And I'm like, how long realistically before we see robo umps?
It's going to be here before you know it. Within the next 5 years, without a doubt, you're going to see robo umps for balls and strikes. Absolutely, you will.
Honestly, they should have it.
Yep.
These guys suck.
As long as it's I mean, that's why they try it out in the minors, right? They don't give a shit about who wins or loses those games.
Sure.
So, as long as it works out, you're going to see it sooner rather than later.
And let me ask you this. Is it more now that we have issues with the umpires because they're actually putting up the strike zone after every single pitch?
Yeah, it makes them look really bad.
Really bad.
Because remember, for years during the 90s and even after that, for years, and I mean years, they never had anything like that.
Right. I'm glad they have it. Let me tell you something. Tom Glavine, I don't think he threw a strike for like 3 or 4 years when he was with the Braves. But they kept on giving him those pitches that were 3-4 inches outside.
Oh, man. I did like this one. I will say this one. I did like this little video.
Let's take a look at Siri.
Watch the ball's put into play. Now he's just read it. He's not going to look at me. Off I go. And
it's like the ump's just not knowing where the hell to stand either.
Well, okay. In the ump's defense, he's looking at the field.
Yeah, he's looking down the first.
He's looking at the field. He's got to make calls. This guy's got to do it. Well, I mean, shit.
You're almost in the freaking path, man. Maybe
Siri
a little bit.
Known there was no ball coming. He could have eased up as he came in.
Here's my question too: why the hell is the ump not throwing the bat out of the way? Right? They're supposed to do that too. No?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, like it's just the ump show, man. The
I
ump
promise
show.
you, if Fernando Tatis or Ronald
rolls their leg,
or Aaron Judge rolls their ankle and breaks their ankle slipping on a bat like that, yeah, the league's going to be pissed about that.
True that.
Now, this is a fun. Drew just sent us a little take, and we're going to get back to comments here. Drew sent us a little take here. This is by Stephen A. So that's how you know they're meant to be good. But this is Stephen A. here.
It's really hard to put this into words, but I'm going to try. As you know, I'm a Knicks fan, and we've talked about R.J. Barrett. Between Zion Williamson's body and John Morant's stupidity, R.J. Barrett might end up being the best pick. It's really hard to put.
Do you think that's a possibility? Do you think that?
Because R.J. Barrett sucks. He sucks. I watched him I'm like, I never seen a guy miss so many layups. He had the same problem at Duke. He thought he was better than he really was. I'll never forget that Michigan State game in the whatever it was round of 8, where they wound up getting knocked out, and it was all because R.J. Barrett's taking all the shots at the end when Zion was best player in college basketball that year, and Zion never even touched the ball. It was just the R.J. Barrett show. We know how that turned out down the stretch. 0 for 3, Duke loses. Best player should get the ball and take the shots at the end, not your secondary. There's a reason why the Beatles were, you didn't see Ringo, being the lead singer. No, it was John or Paul. Okay. You're not seeing, if it's Led Zeppelin, People aren't paying to see John Paul Jones do his keyboard work. They're looking at Robert Plant and Jimmy Page, and even Bonzo on the drum kit. No, RJ Barrett, absolutely freaking not. No. The more I watch him, the less impressed I am.
Really?
The Knicks suck. There's a reason why they lost to the 8th seed. They got the best player, Jimmy Butler. That's why they advanced. RJ Barrett sucks. Sorry, Drew.
Oh, good gracious. All right, let's go through some comments.
I'm serious. I'm like, dude, how many shots how many bunnies can you miss that close to the basket? You saw the same thing with Jason Tatum. Even though they wound up winning that series against Philadelphia. In game 6, he had like 8 points through 3 quarters.
So Jason Tatum's really freaking good, though.
Yeah, but you know what? He's soft. I'm picking Miami to beat Boston. And Drew, by the way, just to let you know, the Knicks didn't beat Milwaukee or Boston this year.
You forgot to say
lost to Miami. They would have lost. They would have lost to Milwaukee. Instead, they lost to Miami.
Tony Chi says, I can't wait for Lou to be found dead after 14 days of no-show because everybody's afraid to talk to him.
Wouldn't that be great? Hey, what's
no,
that spell coming?
Grumpy.
Oh, okay.
That'd not be good if Lou Lamoriello died. Grump, come on.
No, I don't mean like that.
Got a comment here from Tony. She said they're gonna find him with rice pudding in his mouth and a glass of prune juice spilled over the floor.
There you go. I think it's fair to say he should not be general manager anymore.
Yes, I agree. Absolutely not. Ian Malloy says here, trade Lee, Nelson, Kyle Palmieri, John Gabriel Pajot, Clutterbuck Mart. Yeah,
they're not doing anything. They're doing nothing.
Yep, if Lou's around, none of that's happened. Pamarillo. I don't even know. Doing us
Pamarillo. Lou Lamoriello, Pamarillo.
Pamarillo. Okay, cool. Lou will keep trading away first-round picks. Absolutely, Frank. He's a problem. I like Nylander too. The Leafs fans are calling for dissolution of the core 4.
If he hadn't have moved everything of value in the last number of years, he could have made a run at Nylander.
Sure.
I'd make a run at Nylander. But what would you, if you wanted Nylander, what would you have to give up? Seriously, what players have any appeal around the league? Legitimate appeal where you can get something. You're only talking about what? 4, 5 guys maybe in your whole organization. 4 or 5 guys. Sorokin, Barzell, Dobson, Pellick. And maybe I don't think Horvat is, not with that contract. There's not seriously. I said Nelson. Did I say Nelson?
You did, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
But there's not a whole lot of guys who have much appeal around the league. I hate to tell you.
Sure.
You've gutted the franchise for the worst.
Yeah.
Wednesday's going to be ugly on that show.
I have a feeling too. Leafs, the Islanders, AstroTurf, very seriously. Lu Muerta. Oh man. Okay, let's see here. This had to turn into an Islanders Ever Say Die podcast. No. Laviolette is going to the Rangers, I bet, Grumpy.
Good for him. I hope he wins there. That'll make them get rid of Lamoriello too, have the Rangers come in and beat the shit out of the Islanders. I'm serious. The only way for the Islanders to improve is to really bottom out, so they got a clean house. Even just not making the playoffs is not good enough. They have to suck so bad that ownership says, oh, man, this ain't really working. And the old man can't sell me on whatever he's going to say. I don't even know what he can say. Can Lou Lamoriello come out this offseason and say, I believe in this core? Can he come out and say that for the 4th year in a row? Can he really do that?
I think he can. Yeah, and he will.
Who's going to believe him, though? Because the first question is, you've said that 4 years in a row and you have won nothing. Nothing. You've gotten worse.
Yeah. But here's the thing.
Didn't make excuses 2 years ago, right? No excuses. You didn't make the playoffs. This year, no excuses because you don't believe in excuses. Your team get bounced by a team that was really banged up and still couldn't get the job done. I tell you what, Carolina's going to win the cup.
You think so?
Yep. I don't think Florida can beat them.
My little brownie here, Grumpy, saying, Grump.
In your honor, I rewatched Drive to Survive this weekend. Still on your radar? Oh, I did watch the last episode of season 4, and I tried to get X involved, and I wanted him to watch the last episode of season 4, like my little brownie suggested. And he said, just like most anything, he only halfway did it, didn't fill up the water, didn't really watch the show.
Damn,
you give this guy a simple task and he just fucks it up left and right. I don't know what else to do. So, but yes, I did watch it, and now I'm starting to watch season 5. And I like the fact that he beat Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton seemed a little bit, I don't know. It seemed like he was ready for a downfall. Him and his crew chief, it seems like they got every break in the book the whole year, and then they didn't like it when something didn't go their way. They didn't like it, and they wound up losing.
Let me ask you this.
Stop your crying. His first name is Lou, too, so sorry.
Oh, no, Grumpy. Let me ask you this. Grumpy, can you do me a favor and touch that grape drink and tell me if that's still scalding hot for you? Or that started to cool off?
It's cooled off a little bit.
Oh, no.
Cooled off a little bit.
Okay. Mario, Grumpy.
Laviolette took the Flyers, the Predators to the finals, and won the cup with the Canes. Yeah, he's a good coach. Started with us. Milbury hired him from Providence, the Providence Bruins.
JP, Grumpy.
The owners of pro sports leagues are cabals. There are no promo relegate systems here. There should be. They all collude together and mostly share monetary streams. Absolutely, they do. Like the NFL, everyone gets paid money. The season tickets or ticket sales, that's a drop in the bucket. NHL is different. It's about season ticket sales. But these other sports, it's TV deals. Like in the NFL, they share merchandising money. Except for a couple teams. Dallas was one that had their own deal, but
yeah,
they all make money hand over fist. JP says winning a cup is a gold star for most of them. Yeah, they were there to make money. Absolutely.
And congratulations, Alexander. JP says exactly, TJ. When they stop drawing, the clueless property pair will make changes. Yep. Goon, Grumpy.
Are the Jets that stupid that they will not get a serviceable veteran backup quarterback in case the old man goes down? Of course not. That would make too much sense. Why? You got the Wilson kid. I wouldn't be going out. They brought in his old backup, Tim, whoever it is, Tim Doyle. They have 3 quarterbacks. The Jets going to be good this year. They are. And they released a schedule too, by the way.
Oh, and speaking about Zach Wilson, I know he's wishing a lot of mothers happy Mother's Day today.
He certainly is. Likes to give them their start.
We got here Anthony Price, Grumpy.
If you have the evidence, he should get a job back. No, he will never get another shot. That kid will never get another shot. Look at all these sports leagues. What happened in Montreal with that kid? And then what happened with the kid in Boston for the Bruins, where something happened when they're 13 years old. You're going to hold it against the kid. He's 13 years old. And you're not going to be able to play in the league because something you did when you're 13 years old. Stop. Just stop it.
TJ, the Knicks are better off than the Islanders. More playoff seasons for us.
I will agree with him there. I will. The Islanders, let me tell you something. Islanders on downside now.
Yep. And first off, you should look at the Ja Morant thing as solely dismissing what I meant Ja for MVP. He flashes another gun. Oh, he flashed another gun again.
That's why he just got suspended again.
Oh, shit. I didn't know it happened to him again.
He just got suspended, I think, yesterday when, I guess, video come out, another video with him with the gun. It's just dumb. I mean, dumb. Again, athletes are dumb. Dumb.
What's
The
the point of
football is
that?
dumbest. Basketball is probably second dumb. I'm going to say that baseball is pretty smart. And hockey players, maybe hockey players are next dumb after. But I think baseball is the smartest players of baseball.
Christ almighty. Christ almighty. Andriel said the girl was actually 17 and lying. She said she was 18 going to college parties. You should see her interview about the situation. Takes zero accountability.
That's why you got to punish her. That's why you punish them so severely that, guess what, honey? You're going to learn. You're going to learn. Ruined the kid's life. Ruined it. Because she was out banging every Tom, Dick, and Harry out there. Lincoln Tunnel. Just see you later.
You got here. Drew saying. Plus, TJ, you said it was a first round entry, so get dunked on.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
I just said they weren't. Here's the thing, Drew. You know me. I just said they were never going to beat Boston or Milwaukee. That's all I said. I didn't realize they'd lose to Miami, but I said they weren't going to beat Boston or Milwaukee.
Well, then he should sue the NFL. He has an easy win versus the NFL. Sue their balls off by firing him quickly. He screwed up. They screwed up, like Grumpy Old Man said.
You know, they'll just give him his severance will be, or his payback will be DraftKings. It'll be some DraftKings tokens that he can use online. That's what they'll pay him.
They're going to let him know what the script is before the season starts.
Seriously, he was fired without cause. I mean, realistically, he'll never get a shot. I feel bad for him. I feel bad for anybody who gets put in a jackpot because somebody's lying, not just because it was the lady, but anything. I mean, it should be innocent until proven guilty, not guilty until proven innocent. That's the way it is in society now, and it's wrong. It's absolutely wrong.
Here you go. Goon Goon Grumpy.
Empire State, I was thinking the same thing. He should sue the NFL. That said, why didn't he make a bigger stink that he wasn't ever present that night and was elsewhere? He did, and they just ignored it. Nope, sorry, you're guilty. She said you were. It doesn't matter what you said. The same thing with the Duke lacrosse thing. They had video evidence. That thing went to court. That thing went to freaking court.
They even had people who worked in the crime unit who were planning evidence and doing shady shit.
And the DA wound up losing his job and getting disbarred. He was trying to cater to that, to his constituency. Which is where he lived, which is a predominantly black area. So okay, we're gonna bury these rich white kids. This way he get reelected. That's what it was all about. He knew it was a lie, and they had. But the kids had the video evidence where the lady said that this guy was here and this guy was here. They showed that nope, there was actually they were at a cash machine at that exact same time. They were full of shit. They were out turning tricks or whatever they were doing earlier in the night. Joseph C. says, no way any professional team was going to keep a player accused of rape. I can't blame the Bills for cutting him, but he should get another chance. You know what? No. You know what? Just because you're accused does not make you guilty. You let it play out. You can cut him anytime.
What about the Houston Texans with Deshaun Watson?
Let me tell you something.
I think Deshaun was a little different. How many rape allegations did they have?
But I mean, they kept him for how long, though?
When Kobe,
that's the point, though. When you play well enough, they don't care. Go ahead.
When Kobe Bryant was accused of rape, and he did rape that girl because he paid her off, did the Lakers fire him? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Didn't happen. When Ben Roethlisberger was accused of rape with the girls in Pittsburgh, they just paid that off. Was he fired? He was not. Absolutely not.
Players who are really good get to do whatever the hell they want, and we can put enough cover-up money to make sure that doesn't go around.
If Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady was accused of rape, do you think the Patriots or Buccaneers or the Kansas City Chiefs would have cut them? Absolutely not.
Covered right under the rug.
Peyton Manning, do you think he would have been, if he was accused of rape, they would have gotten rid of him? No freaking way. Just no way. You can't do it. It's innocent until proven guilty, period.
Andriel says here, TJ talking down to Punish for being irrelevant, like he wasn't the next best thing, offensive lineman. O-line, extremely
here's the-
valuable.
I hate to stick up for TJ here, but offensive line is pretty important compared to punters.
Okay,
Sure.
but I think they're talking about the relevancy scale. Usually, it's the same thing. If you know an offensive lineman's name, it's probably because they're doing something wrong.
Yeah, I'm just going to say if on the relevancy scale, though, you have punters, long snappers. I might even say long snappers first, then punters, then field goal kickers, then you can get maybe an offensive line. I go offensive line and defensive line, tight end.
If you're a good punter, I feel like people will know who you are. Who was the guy for the Raiders who's
the guy for the Raiders? Okay,
Janikowski.
thanks for proving my point. Ray Guy.
Not Ray Guy. It was the other one, the Giskowski.
Janikowski.
Janikowski.
He was a field goal kicker, not a punter.
I thought he was a punter.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for proving my point, X. Appreciate
No,
it.
who's the one who bombed those kicks down the field? Punt them. He was the punter also. He was everything. He was the punter, the kicker, and the field goal kicker.
Did you happen to see how small Bryce Young looked at camp? Let's pull up a little picture of Bryce Young at camp.
Uh-oh.
Video of him.
I hope this is not a meme. I hope it's an actual picture. I don't want to see some toddler out there amongst the big players. Oh, he looks small. Okay. Can he play? He can play. He's good.
Oh my God. Oh my God, guys. He's tiny. He's tiny. Hold on a second. Oh, we already saw that one video of him running around. Just take a look, see at this.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's tough to see. Here we go, Grumpy.
I just want to see him throw the ball.
He is, it's like, you know what it's like? It's like you've let the Make-A-Wish Foundation kid because he's that small. He looks that out of place.
Well, he looks like the middle school kid who they brought out and were like, hey, yeah, you can go ahead and run a practice with the high schoolers.
How do you look? How do you look? I realize it's just, helmets and shorts. But how do you throw the ball? That's what I want to know.
Not as good as my boy Will Levis, Grubby.
I'm going to say one thing. Holy crap.
Mayo Man.
This Edmonton-Vegas game is off to a thriller. It's already 2-1.
Oh, X, what do you mean? How do you know what the Vegas game's already off to, huh?
It's a reflection I'm seeing from the TV in another room.
The TV in another room, huh, there, X?
Yep.
Oh, God.
I got some set up.
Joseph C. Grumpy.
Speaking of rigging, sure looks like the Blackhawks winning the Bedard sweepstakes is totally rigged. Nice way to reward them for covering up sexual assault. I don't care about that sexual assault. That happened who knows how long ago. But we talked about it earlier how it was rigged.
Tony Cheese.
He says, is Jacksonville going to Europe? Well, that's what they say. London is like their home away from home.
Hey, hold on, is this a fucking joke?
No. Jacksonville, every year they want to play every year in London. They want it to be like a home away from home. You could never have a team in Europe playing in the NFL. Cannot do it.
Correct.
Unless you have a whole nother league, which is, Europe, NFL Europe, and then they play in the World Bowl at the end because the time difference is just not conducive to good football.
Yes.
6-hour time difference.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah, at least.
Yep. I'm saying if
You
you're
use the M word. I don't know what that is. Rob says agreed and on rigged. Subban said the Columbus wasn't in the top 2 before it was even announced.
It was Kevin Weeks. And that's honestly, I like Kevin Weeks. That's not something he's good at, that particular thing. You need to have a host do that.
Sure. And James F says, what can the Knicks do to get up to the next level?
They need a really good player. A really good player. Zion's on that team now, isn't he?
Who? Zion's still with the Pelicans.
Pelicans,
Oh,
no?
I thought he was traded. Okay.
Nope.
Okay.
He just hasn't been playing in a while because he's been so overweight.
We knew. I mean,
Injuring himself all the time.
stop eating, Zion. You could have been great.
He apparently has lost a good bit of weight, but it's like I think
Really? I heard he was at McDonald's. Do we have the video? of him
No,
being at McDonald's?
Grumpy. No. Next video. Next comment, Grumpy.
Clearly, TJ doesn't know how to round. Guess he paid off his elementary school to
Good.
pass the math
Grump
class.
went to a new comment. Do the applause now. Yay.
How about this one, Grumpy? Tony Cheese.
I like Baker Mayfield.
Baker, baby. Yes, sir.
Tony
Nice
Cheese is
choice.
fucking trolling you, X,
I
because
know
Baker
he's
Mayfield
trolling me.
absolutely blows.
I heard he also likes Rey Mysterio.
Gungun says,
Are the Mets merely mediocre or playing possum? I think they're merely mediocre.
Yep. Mediocre.
They're
What's
not.
up,
They're
Johnny
not that
Mac?
talented.
Johnny Mac coming in.
Good evening, TJ Grump and Son X. Son X was like, "Hello, Newman," on Seinfeld. Son X.
Drew L says, here's TJ meat riding Kenny Kitten Mittens Pickets.
Oh, I like that name, Kitten Mittens. Woo-hoo, woo, 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 woo. Kitten Mickens.
Tony Cheese said that was a long way to go for that Derek Carr cries joke, Mysterio.
Oh.
JP said, and the grumpy old man, knowing that he has the best offensive team, wouldn't even part ways with one of his offensive guys in my trades proposal.
Okay, JP, do not make me tell you a ridiculous trade proposal here on the air, because it was not good. It was not good. No, not good.
How bad was it, Grump?
On a scale of 1 to 10,
It was Lou bad.
Oh shit, was Lou Lamoriello bad?
I have
Damn.
no idea what the trade was.
JP wanted me to trade the best offensive player and the best pitcher in the deal for a substandard offensive player and a pitcher who's playing better than he has his whole career, but historically has not been that good. I'll just put it to you that way.
Okay. Got your Grump here. We've got here, yeah.
And he's right. He's right. I'm looking for pitching help. I'm always looking
trade for Julius Randle and package him for an under the radar star. Get like one or two shooters from the bench, and number 3, continue to develop the young core.
It sounds like a lot.
Kyle
Who
Dubas
says Kyle Dubas, more like Kyle Damas.
There he is. And Florida was up. Florida was 4-0 in wins. That's right, Joseph C. They're 4-0 in wins. That was crazy.
Bobrovsky's been really good in the playoffs.
Yes. Frank Grumpy.
How about my statements last week? The lack of restructuring contract enables these NHL expansion teams way too good to start off. Thoughts? Why did the NHL do that? Because think about how much money these owners, and here's the thing, most owners want to have a competitive team that has a chance to compete for a Stanley Cup. And they're putting all this money out, hundreds of millions of dollars to get expansion franchises. They don't want to get, the weakest team in the league. Maybe the Islanders ownership doesn't seem to care, but most other ownership groups do. Think about it. Gerard Gallant led Vegas to a Stanley Cup final his first year. And a year and a half later, he's gone. You'll make the playoffs, you're gone.
Yeah, exactly right. That's exactly right. Johnny Mack says the Leafs got multiple breaks to win against Tampa Bay. So the Cats got a few to beat the Leafs in 5. It happens in every series.
Yeah, it's Florida outplayed Toronto. Sorry, just did.
Radko Gudas is somebody that I wish was on the Islanders. The dude screamed in Joseph Woll's face after the winning overtime goal. That's a guy with a competitive spirit. That's the other thing, too, I think is the big problem for Toronto. They don't have enough heart. That's a problem. Feels like, it's not a score. They don't have enough heart. They don't have any heart on that team. No fight in that damn dog.
They've tried to get players like that, but they haven't gotten the right ones. They were before, when they were losing to Boston every year, and the early years against Tampa, they had no grit. They've tried to do that, but they want to keep the core together. Sometimes you got to move a core guy to get yourself some grit, some legit grit players.
Yep, you're right.
I mean, I'd much rather be the team with the fantastic players, though, as opposed to a team with all grit guys, because it's way easier to get a grit guy than it is to get a skill guy. Way easier.
You need to have, ideally, a good mixture of all.
Right. But here's the thing. If you have really good players, you can move one to pick up 2 or 3 grit guys.
Sure. JP said Grumpy's correct. Toronto was awful in this playoffs. DeBoss, Dubas scares me, especially when I found out that he was a douche who argued with a fan. God help. Well, he's not coming at us, so it doesn't matter. It's going to be Lou Lamoriello. Again,
It's worse. That's worse.
Yeah.
Honestly,
it's like you already know what the yard looks like, and here we are saying, great.
The only way Lamoriello is being re-signed is acceptable right now, and I'll agree with, I think it was Drew who mentioned it earlier, is that they bring in a young assistant GM right now, this offseason, who said, you know what, you're going to be in charge of certain aspects.
Shea said that too. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Maybe it was Shea who said that. I'm sorry.
Yep. And Joseph D said Toronto has to break up the core. Trade Matthews because he was awful against Florida. 2 assists in 5 games. They got to do something. I'm not trading Matthews, but
no.
Drew says, I shit you not. One of my Philly friends went to the bar today. He already sees the Sixers get mollywopped by Boston today. And then the Super Bowl plays against the Chiefs. God, I tell you, Philly fans.
They got mollywopped by Boston today.
My little brownie, Grumpy.
Leafs fans should never chant, we want ever again. Great motivation for Florida.
That's right.
Great.
We want Florida.
Yep. Got here. Next comment here, Grumpy.
I get this from Drew. I guess you can say the minor league umpire cheated death right there.
Well, I mean, he should know a little better than that, shouldn't he?
Was that when I thought that was when he got absolutely steamrolled.
He's not a minor league ump. He's a major league ump. Joseph C says CB Buckner, Angel Hernandez, and Laz Diaz are the umpires fans usually think are the worst.
It's right.
I think they're all bad.
They're pretty deep. They're all just the same level of shit. It's the weird thing to say about it too. They've all been bad. This year, it's just that ever since they put up the automatic strike zone, I think it's just been a lot worse.
You'll never have an issue with balls or strikes. You won't have managers going out there getting kicked from games if it's up to a computer. I mean, what are they going to do? Argue with the computer?
The settings are off, or it's not going to really do you too much good.
Yeah. No.
JP Grumpy.
No octopus's garden for you, Grumpy. Okay, my whole thing is.
The hell is that?
Yes, I know Ringo was the lead singer on that, but he was not the lead singer of the Beatles. When you think lead singer of the Beatles, he's the last guy you think of. Even George got more freaking songs and better songs than Octopus's Garden. It was Lennon McCartney and then George. He had some My Guitar Gently Weeps, stuff like that. But, Ringo was the last guy you think of. When you think, here's the thing, you think of Ringo before you think of George Harrison usually because he's got the name Ringo. That's why you think of him. Ringo's a catchy name. But you think Beatles, you think, Paul and George. George and Paul, however, I'm sorry, John and Paul, Paul and John, however you want to do that.
Drew Grumpy.
Grumpy, tell me you haven't watched the NBA playoffs without telling me you've watched the NBA playoffs. I've actually watched some of the games. Absolutely have. I watched the Lakers. You know what I noticed, Drew? Any player who plays today, they are notched down 2 or 3 levels from old-time players because they all take, every single one of them, every single one takes at least 3 steps. You're only allowed to take 2. They take at least 3, sometimes 4 steps. It's like they put the ball under the arm at midcourt, 1, 2, 3, 4, drive the basket. I'm like, does anyone take just 2 steps? Everything is 3 steps. And sometimes 4. I'm like, how many steps are you going to let these sons of bitches take?
Austin Reeves with that midcourt shot, though.
Yeah, it was nice.
Boston will beat Miami. Miami's missing Tyler Herro. And
broke his hand.
And the old Kentucky guy too. And I remember when he was at Kentucky, he was not the marquee guy either by any stretch of the imagination.
Nope.
And Boston was fully healthy. Plus, Jaylen Brown will carry Boston to a 6-game series win, and then Denver wins the ship. I'm just happy that the freaking Suns got eliminated. See you later.
You hate the Suns? You don't like the Suns?
Well, after that owner went ahead and did that
and
that flop, I'm like, see you later. I want you guys to be eliminated immediately.
I'm kind of rooting for Denver. That That who's the player? Who's their big player?
Not
Jokic.
Luka Doncic. It's Jokic.
Jokic.
Okay, yeah, Doncic, whatever his name is.
No. That's on the Dallas Mavericks, Grump.
Okay, this guy's pretty good. He needs to get in shape. He's soft. Okay,
one?
but for a big, he looks like he could lose 15 pounds or tighten it up or something.
Dude, you know his family were like fighting other people and shit at the games.
Ooh.
I'm going to tell you what, he's
Jokic
really
is
freaking
family.
good. He got into a scuffle with some jackwagons on his own team early in the year, wasn't he? The guy?
No.
Oh, no, I don't think so.
I thought he was a guy who shoved it, punched one of his own teammates, or pushed a teammate, or something like that.
What's up, Nick D? He's no. That was I don't remember who the hell that was.
But I'm rooting for him. He's a big guy. He can shoot outside. You can run plays with him.
He's
He's
center
really
who
good.
averages like a triple-double.
I mean, Joel Embiid really impressed me in the playoffs.
I like Joel
He's
Embiid.
really good.
He's really, really good. I never thought he was going to be as good as he turned out to be when he was at Kansas.
He's fantastic.
And then the Lakers, I don't know.
The LeBron baby, the Lakers.
Yeah, I don't see him I just think Denver's really good. Who's their second player on Denver? They got a couple of pretty good players on the team. I just know the soft white guy. He's the one guy I know, Doncic, whatever his name is. Jokic, whatever his name is.
Doncic.
I'm trying to think who they have.
Novak Djokovic, whoever his name is.
How about Steve Nash? They have Steve Nash on that Dallas Mavericks team too, Grumpy?
No, this is Denver Nuggets.
Oh, I thought you were talking about
I knew a guy. He was from Greece. He's dead now. Died of colon cancer a long time ago. Nice guy though. And we bet on games, and he wanted to know, who should I bet on, the Denver Nuggets or the Boston Schlichtics? He used to call them. I'm like, bet the Schlichtics. That's when they, Larry Bird was there, and I think the year that he did that, I think they won I think they were 41-1 at home, lost to Portland. But it was just funny. I just remembered him talking about the Nuggets and the Schlichtics. Just funny.
They traded. I forgot they traded for Kyrie Irving at this year's trade deadline.
Denver?
No, the Dallas Mavericks. We're talking about Dallas Mavericks.
No, I'm talking about Denver. Who else has Denver had? Dallas is out of the playoffs. I don't care about them.
You don't care about that.
I barely care about the teams. Here's the thing. I barely care about the teams in the playoffs. Let's talk about the team, not the player teams out of the playoffs.
Here,
we gave a lot of time to the
Michael
next
Porter
day.
Jr. Michael Porter Jr.
Is he any good?
It's a household name. Yeah, he's good. Yes.
No,
Right?
there's somebody
Michael
else got to
Porter
be better there.
Michael
I don't
Porter
know.
Jr.
Here's the
doing
thing.
it. Yeah, Michael Porter Jr. averaged 17 points a game. Come on,
Just
now,
for
bro.
Drew, we gave way too much time, dedicated way too much time for the Knicks, honestly. I think we give him like 2 minutes.
Jamal Murray is who I was thinking of.
Murray's on that team?
Yeah.
What is up, Nick D? How are you?
Very
What's
good.
up? What's up?
What was that trade? Nick D said, Nylander for Horvat and Pulak. Would you do that? Yes, I absolutely would.
They would not, though.
Toronto wouldn't, though.
It's coming here, Grumpy.
Wednesday night podcast is going to be awesome. Can't wait to hear other fans trash our shitty GM. I'm thinking about calling in. I guess we'll definitely have a call-in show.
Yeah, I was about to say. I went ahead and kind of said we were doing that, so.
Okay.
Yeah. Continuing along, though, Grumpy. Florida's good. They did win first overall in 2022.
Right, and that's what people forget about Florida, right? They were really good last year, and then this year, new coach, whatever. Matt Tkachuk. Remember what did I say about Matt Tkachuk?
Yep, we both thought it. That's change that was needed.
Absolutely. What did they do? Huberdeau was great for them, right? Fantastic. What did they need? They needed a little bit of grit in that locker room. They moved Huberdeau, high score, scored more points than Tkachuk, and brought Tkachuk in, who's a sandpaper guy, a guy you hate on your team.
Nick D.
Either way, the Stan is coming to the East. The Stan.
Championship. I don't know.
Stanley Cup.
Stanley Cup.
Oh, Stanley Cup. Okay. Hey, Nick, spell a whole word out.
Hey, X, you mean? Thanks. Oh, or Nick D. Oh, God. The Stan.
Jesus.
Why did they call her Mrs. Lincoln? Everyone had a shot at her in the balcony. Very good.
3 goals in 3 minutes. Jesus Christ.
A lot of action.
Who's winning that game, X?
It's a commercial right now. I think still Edmonton's up 2-1.
Too bad. I'm rooting for Vegas. I do not
I
want
am
it.
too. I'd like Vegas to win.
Joseph
I'm
C.
pulling
said,
for whoever comes out of the East, though.
I'm going to tell you what. You know who the NHL wants?
Oh, for
They
sure.
want Edmonton. They'll do everything in their power to get Edmonton into the Cup Finals.
We saw
Everything in
the
their power.
5-minute major that was called in the last game.
That was ridiculous. Joseph C. says, yeah. And how did he play during the season, Drew? He was a high-volume, low-efficiency scorer the Knicks gave a max deal to. We must be talking about R.J. Barrett.
He is.
Yeah. And Joe Steele says, he's not good. I agree. And Drew says, need I remind you, RJ is only 22 years old, and he still has 4 more years of development before his prime hits. Basketball and hockey are different. I don't think he's the guy. He thinks he's the guy, and he's not. He when he was at Duke, it was the same thing. He thought he was the man, and I don't think he's a bad person, but he thinks he's a better player than he is. I think that's the big issue. Then Drew says, Joseph C. RJ is so statistically much better when Julius Randle is off the court. RJ and Randle just don't mesh well together fit-wise. You can point at his stats, but one is 28 and the other is 23. Gosh, Julius Randle's only 28. I remember him playing, I think it was from Maryland. And I was like, gosh, Julius Randle's still in the league? It's like 100 years ago. Joseph C. says, odds are if the Knicks trade Randle, they'll ask Barrett to pick up some of the slack, and that means he'll just be a less efficient scorer. Then JP chimes in with, don't sleep on Edmonton.
I hope they lose.
Their defense sucks. Sorry. Joseph C. says, Knicks should have dealt him to Utah and got Mitchell. They're having a little, TJ, just in case you didn't know while you were away, a lot of RJ Barrett hate going on.
You're not an RJ Barrett guy, are you, Grumpy?
I think he thinks he's better than he is. That's all. I think he would be a good complimentary piece, but in the big moments, I don't want him being the go-to guy. Just don't. He didn't prove it in college. He hasn't done it in the pros. He thinks he's the clutch guy, and he's just not.
Tony Cheese, Grumpy.
I'm watching the game through the reflection in Grumpy's painting.
There it is. Grumpy's got the game on. You can see through the painting. Mm-hmm. JP says pro sports want to expand.
LOL. How long before you think they have do you really think you could expand the NFL, for instance, to I don't even know how many more teams. How many divisions are there?
They'd have to have 2 leagues, and then the winners of each league face off against each other.
Oh, my gosh. You can't expand 32 teams.
I'm telling you, they want to do 64 total.
They'll do it like they do with Champions League in soccer. They'll have each individual league, and then they'll have a Champions League.
Stupid.
You cannot have 64 teams. There's just not enough players to sustain that talent-wise. Why not just put the XFL out there or the WFL or whatever the hell they're calling it, USFL. They had their championship game yesterday. Snooze. Did anyone know? I don't know.
Drew L. Grumpy.
Donovan Mitchell is stupid overrated. The dude is always a first-round exit every year. Donovan Mitchell is not a superstar. Neither is RJ Barrett.
The London Chaps. God. The London Blood Sausages. The London Dentists. Oh, goodness.
Oh, jeez.
Drill said.
He's a really good player, but not a star. Talking about Donovan Mitchell.
Either is RJ Barrett. Oh, God. A lot of these arguing back and forth. The London losers of the Revolutionary Wars. There it is.
LLRW.
No, I really do like Baker Mayfield. Now, see, this is being a degenerate. Nobody takes you seriously.
Very true.
Oh, my gosh. Here. Okay.
Then Joe sees, come on, Drew. RJ Barrett was worth 2.2 win shares all year. Advanced stats hate the guy. Oh, Alex Cobb is no slouch. Okay. Alex Cobb, this is the best. This little stretch he's had is the best he's ever played.
Always liked Alex Cobb.
Yeah, I got him on X's team in another league. Absolutely. And he's performed well so far. He's not freaking Spencer Strider. Sorry, JP. He's not Spencer Strider.
You think so?
No, not even freaking close. Stop. He's Alex freaking Cobb. No. And I like Alex Cobb.
Is he
He's
related?
a guy that I pick up every week as a streamer. This year, he's more the streamer. You only picked him up, what, 2 weeks ago? That's when you picked him up.
Is he related to Ty Cobb?
I picked him up in season once already this year, Alex Cobb. Absolutely, I did. And he did shit. That was the 1 week he didn't do shit.
All righty here. RJ will be a solid player. Not true. I know when somebody isn't good. I always keep my bias out. My little brownie.
To have X be more engaged, should he read some comments too? TJ, throw some comments his way. Yeah, X. I mean, not only you're not filling up the water container, you're not even carrying your weight on this show.
Come on, X.
Well, dude, I mean, I've been trying.
Joseph C. here, X.
Well, I hate to break it to you, but he's way overpaid to be an inefficient scorer.
There's our boy RJ Barrett.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Here we go. My little brownie. Let's get a lot of the basketball back and forth.
Eberle, Barzy, and Horvat on the top line. I know Barzi's past your age limit. Absolutely freaking not, Grump. But I wouldn't mind seeing that for a season or two. No. You cannot get older. You cannot continue to get older. My little brownie, let's just cut that cord. Just cut it. Cut it. Any old
way too high. You need to cut it.
What'd you say, Teach? I'm sorry.
I said your price is way too high. You need to cut it.
Your price is
cut
cutty.
Here you go, Grumpy. I got a comment here from JP.
I know, Grumpy. I'm just playing, although Ringo's vocals on Good Night are actually heartwarming. Yeah, he wasn't terrible, but he's not the lead singer there. No one thinks Ringo when they think Beatles. Not nobody. Most people.
I'm into that, TJ. I hate KD, so that fits the ship.
It's funny. I was watching that last game. Durant's with Phoenix, and he missed a shot in the second quarter. You could just tell he was just resigned. I never thought, and here's the thing, I think Kevin Durant is an all-time talent, Hall of Famer, but again, not a guy that you need to be the lead dog. I think he was always better in the big moments as a secondary guy. You need a guy who's going to pull you up by your bootstraps when things aren't going well, and he was not one of those guys.
I started to not like Kevin Durant when he sold out after OKC lost to them when they were up 3-1 in their playoff series. They lost to Golden State, and he said, well, you know what? If you can't beat them, join them. That's when I lost all respect for Kevin Durant.
I don't care that he did that.
I hate that he did that.
It was the best thing he ever did was go there because he had a lead dog in Steph Curry. That's why they won. It wasn't because of Kevin Durant. It was because of Steph Curry. And he had games where, he was great, but he wasn't the number one guy. There was Steph Curry. So
he had Russell Westbrook in his prime.
Russell Westbrook has always sucked. He's a volume scorer.
That's wrong. You're wrong there.
But he's a volume
Westbrook,
scorer.
baby.
He averaged a triple-double, dude.
He's a volume scorer.
Triple-double for a couple seasons.
Yeah, I don't care, but everything is me. They didn't win for a reason.
They're up 3-1 in the series.
Because they're losers. Probably. Here's the thing. I don't remember the series, but I'm going to guarantee you Russell Westbrook played some shitty games down the stretch to cost them that series. And I bet you he probably went maybe 10 for 50 in shooting because that's what he does. That's his history. It's the reason why he's never won anything. Wherever he goes, he's a cancer to a team
that literally beat you you sell out and go to the team that literally beat you in the playoffs. I think that's real.
He wanted a ring. I don't have a problem with it.
Trash.
The way shit is these days, I guess.
Super team
here. We got a whole bunch of these RJ Barrett comments. My God, you have just stored up. Oh my God. Okay, now we got Carmelo comments. Look at what you've done, Grumpy. Tony Cheese, Grump.
Did the Greek guy who died of ass cancer own a diner? No, he did not. Really nice guy, too. Really nice guy. And he was young. It's like his mid-40s. Nice guy. I was young. Oh, gosh, I was like in my early 20s. Just a super nice guy, though.
Got a comment here, Grumpy. Julius Randle is no different, but Carmelo, except he's more of a shitty player.
Okay. Carmelo was better than Julius Randle.
was really freaking good.
Okay. And Joseph C. here, Grump.
Sure, but I was talking about the similarity in terms of play. At least RJ tries on the defensive end, though. Yeah, I just don't think he's great. He on a team that they say you need 3 big stars to win the NBA. He's a number 3. I think he's a number 3. JP says, "Go Oilers."
There it is. I'm telling you, the Oilers.
Did you
we
hear
get Dubas and move Lou upstairs? That's not happening.
No.
Were
they friendly at the end there in Toronto? I don't know.
No, I don't think
Tony
so.
G says Drew huffs glue while watching Knick games. Yikes.
Oh, man. Room for Vegas. Eichel had to suffer all of those years in Buffalo with no help.
Yeah.
I'm pulling for Vegas too.
Me too.
Except I do. Whoever wins out of the East, that's who I want to win the cup.
Either Florida or Carolina will win the Stanley Cup. Sorry, Grump. Do better.
Thank you, Nick D. And it's not because of you, because I think that's maybe the way everybody talks. I use full words because it helps me understand what you're talking about.
Jesus Christ. I'm rooting for the Florida Panthers.
Yeah, I don't care if they win.
Spencer Strider has made some big strides.
Yeah,
that's it.
He's good.
I heard Grump is really pulling hard for the Kraken.
The Kraken? No, I'm not rooting for them.
The Dallas Stars.
Absolutely not rooting for them. Nick D says 2 reasons why the NHL want to carry the Coilers into the final. McDavid is one. The second, the NHL wants to dismiss conspiracy that Bettman doesn't want a Canadian team to win the Stanley Cup since '93. I think they want McDavid. Number one. I don't think they care. I don't think they care if they win the Stanley Cup, but they want him in the finals for certain. So they want eyeballs on sets. That's what it's all about.
For certain they do. Drew L. Grumpy.
TJ, I heard Kenny Bickett said he wants to be one of the best quarterbacks in the league. I just hope his kitten mittens will allow him to do that. Somehow that kitten mittens is going to stick.
Kenny Pickett's going to do it, baby. Milo
Brown says, Grump, I love Everly. Was very unhappy when he wasn't protected. Yeah, you couldn't protect everybody. Why didn't they just take Bailey? Well, they knew
or
better.
expose Matt Martin.
Yeah.
That'd been something crazy, wouldn't it have? They need to get rid of Cap.
We were afraid they were going to take Matt Martin. Yeah, so what?
KD without Golden State is ringless. I'm Grumpy. I hate to break it to you. KD was the guy in Golden State, and Steph Curry was the second option. Postseason stats would tell you that.
Not in the big moments. In the big moments, it was Steph Curry. Steph Curry's always been the man in the big moments. He's not afraid to, defer to other players. But if you're taking the last shot, it was not Kevin Durant. It was Steph Curry. Absolutely. Come on.
Also, one thing that team was absolutely loaded.
They were loaded.
Yes.
Klay Thompson was still healthy then. I think they still had Draymond Green. They were really good that year.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think didn't they still have Iguodala? I just butchered his name.
Doesn't change the fact that KD is still soft and a sensitive snake. Frank says Eberle and Barzal were best friends too. How could that moron Lou not expose Bailey or a fourth? They did expose Bailey.
Yep.
They were hoping they'd take Bailey, but didn't get lucky. Bailey or a fourth liner. Barzal and Eberle had chemistry. They played together in juniors.
No, they didn't.
Go Lou, aka Lou's.
No, Eberle's quite a bit older than Barzal. They did expose Bailey, but they protected Matt Martin. What did they want? They wanted Seattle to take one of the $5 million contracts, either 5.5, which was Eberle, or the $5 million, which is Bailey. That's what they want. And they took Eberle at the time. Okay, you needed to take salary cap money. Team wasn't good enough anyway. Didn't matter. And that's what I said at the time. Didn't matter who they picked as long as they freed up some money. Lou is mismanaged as his cap numbers. Didn't matter that they got the money. Still messed it up. It is what it is.
Then there's a whole situation on KD why he chose Brooklyn over the Knicks as to why he's soft, but that's besides the point. Joseph C says here, I want to see McDavid win a cup. I never liked it when the best players get screwed over by an organization. It doesn't help them.
It's funny. They have scored. I think they've scored, not going into tonight, I think 9 goals. They've had 16 goals in this series. 9 of them on the power play, and 7 in 5-on-5. They've been tremendous on power play. They're not so good 5-on-5.
Sounds a lot like
special teams.
Penalty Argentina.
Mm.
A round of applause for Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, baby.
Rey Mysterio. There you go. Doesn't have kit mittens. Mobile Kenny Pickett's more mobile than Daniel Jones. Please stop. Please stop.
Danny Dimes, baby.
Danny Dimes blows. French Open starts next week. I normally love tennis, but this generation of players are so damn boring. I couldn't even tell you who the hell they are, to be honest with you. That's how little.
Djokovic and Nadal, I think, are the last two.
Well, Nadal and Jokic are the last two.
Oh, Jokic.
They're kind of scaling back. It's not the same. I mean, I think Jokic is still really good, but he's selective what he plays. I mean, he's getting up there too. Nadal he's the best clay court player ever.
Yep.
Ever. And second was probably Federer, but Nadal number one. Johnny Mac says,
I'll let you read this one, Grumpy.
Johnny Mac says, Son X, you need to start bringing some interesting takes to the table. Honeymoon period is over. Contribute.
The honeymoon period's over, Son X. Start contributing or find your ass out on the street looking for another podcast to contribute to.
Maybe if you would fill up your refrigerator with water, things would go a little bit better.
That's true.
It's your slack-ass preparation period that we don't agree with.
Oh, my God. There it is. True hell, Grumpy.
Grumpy, do you not remember those 2 big shots in back-to-back finals where KD hit the dagger on LeBron twice in the same spot? KD took the big shots. Okay. In the really, really big moments, if they need the basket, who took the shot? Who takes the shots? It was
LeBron
Steph
James.
Curry.
Seemed like KD did.
Yeah, it was not. Steph Curry was the man there. And here's the thing. He was a great number 2. He was a great number 2.
That team was loaded. They were not losing.
Drew
3
said,
more years of loser
3 more years of loser Lamarillo. Let's not go.
Get ready to have a 15-year rebuild, Islander fans. We can relive the Milbury days and then falsely blame the fisherman again.
True.
Or they're going to blame the next general manager. Oh, it's all his fault because he did a poor job during the rebuild. Not the guy who completely freaking blew everything and ugh. I don't even want to get started with the Islanders today, to be honest. Andrew L says here, Daniel Jones blows hot ass. He does. And is it official that Lou received 3 years? Or was it 2?
Well, we heard a couple of months ago that Lou was coming back and going to get a 2-year extension.
But then things changed to when one source told us, hey, looks like he is on the way out. They're looking for a replacement, but now it looks like it's...
But it looks like the original source was correct.
2 or 3 years. Yeah, we'll see. Andrew L said, I think Son X should be obligated to drive to Grumpy's house right now so we can fill out that damn fridge.
I already did it. I couldn't wait for him.
Ooh.
X.
Save myself a trip now. Thank you.
I still have to call Son X every week to make sure he puts his garbage out for the garbage truck to pick up because he fucks that up too.
Oh, X, you don't put the garbage out every week?
Garbage is always out.
No, it's not.
That's not what it sounds like there.
It's not.
By the way, TJ,
not.
are you able to tell us the source? No, can't tell you any sources. Sorry. Just very, very credible sources. That's all I'm going to say. Joseph C said, won't know how good Daniel Jones could be anyways, because the Giants don't get wide receivers in free agency. They trade for them or they take them before the 3rd round.
Okay. He sucks. I'm telling you right now, Daniel Jones sucks. He's not the answer at quarterback.
Drew L says, Liar X.
Liar X.
And then Andrew L says, unfill that fridge and discipline this loose cannon. Oh, Grumpy, can you unfill that refrigerator and get X over there to fill that fridge back up for you? Does that make amends, Grumpy?
No.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take all the bottles of water he has, dump them all out, and fill them all up with tap water, and then put them in the fridge.
Wait till the warden finds out. That shit won't fly for you. You better think long and hard before you start making those type of statements.
$3.25 worth of water.
Oh yeah, the warden wouldn't like that at all. That's right.
Yep.
Oh man, Jesus. All righty, guys, we're here at the end of the show here today. What do you want to say before we wrap things up today?
I want to say love and laughter to everyone who listens, and even those who don't. From TJ, the grumpy old man, and Son X.
And Son X, what do you want to say before we wrap things up today?
You might as well say something on the show today.
Ooh,
Oh
wow.
shit!
Wow.
Wow.
No, I was just gonna say I want to thank everybody for coming out and listening, and hope everybody enjoyed the show.
Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. It was nice to get back on the podcast waves, I guess we'd say it. I'm going to get out of here and do a nice little show. Thank you so much, everybody. We will be going live this Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe on YouTube, like on Facebook, and follow on Twitter. We'll be going live next Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you don't miss out. Thank you so much, everybody. And thank you, Grumpy and Son X.
No problem.
Happy Mother's Day to all the many mothers who listen to this show. Happy Mother's Day. But thank you anyway. Thank you, Grumpy, and thank you, X.